Hey everybody, welcome to Frame Trap. I'm your host, Brad Ellis, and I'm joined by, once again, my co-host, Michael Damiani.
What's up?
Oh,
I was caught in the worst frame trap this past week.
Oh, man.
The damn Yankees.
Oh, damn.
Couldn't escape the Astro frame trap.
And our pretty much honorary third co-host, Michael Huber. Just so you know,
a frame trap too.
At least they took one game, man.
I have Huber on this show a lot. One, because we love him, but two, plays a lot of games. So I can always count on Mike to have plenty of games to talk about. And we got some good games to talk about on this episode. Before we get into it, though, if you are enjoying this show or anything that we do, please check out our Patreon at patreon.com/easyallies. That is the lifeblood of this company. That's how we are primarily supported, through generous viewers like you. We would greatly appreciate it.
Check it out.
Also, leave a like or a comment.
Yeah.
Or a rating on whatever you use. If you're enjoying the show, we'd greatly appreciate it. Also,
Takes 1 minute.
takes 1 minute, probably even less.
It'll help us out.
Hold on, let's go back real quick. What's this baseball talk? So,
Wait, what?
Yankees are
Yankees
out.
lost,
Yankees
Dodgers
are
are
out.
out.
You're a Yankees fan, right?
Yeah.
But you're not from New York. Why do you like the
Born in
Yankees?
New York.
You were born in New York, so that's where
Born.
your allegiance is from?
Damn
Yeah.
right.
Are any of your parents from there?
Yeah, both my parents were
Okay, from there. But
too.
then you moved later on. Okay.
Yeah.
Huber's a Dodger fan.
Huge. Grandparents born and raised in LA.
Were your parents?
born and raised in LA. I've lived
You
and work in LA.
Born and raised in Orange County,
Yeah. But I've lived in LA.
I know where Brad's going.
Oh, okay.
which is the Angels. However, I don't care about sports at all. I like the Angels because they're my local team.
like
But
the Angels.
however, it makes sense. It's more about a dynasty thing for you. It's
Yeah,
family
yeah.
legacy.
Yeah. And I lived in LA. I've never lived in like Anaheim. That's
true.
If you want to get
Well,
super specific.
What do they call them? The L.A.
The Los
No,
Angeles
the
Angels.
Angels.
Yeah,
LA.
which is
That's the
garbage.
Yeah.
Like, Anaheim is not a hop away from
No.
L.A.
No.
It's pretty spread out here. I mean,
Yeah.
L.A. is massive. L.A. County's huge, but
It's a business move. I get it, but nobody likes
it's a
it.
stupid business movie.
Yeah. Nobody
Like,
likes
people know what Anaheim is because Disneyland's there.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
People know what Anaheim is.
Totally.
It's like, I know what Orlando is because of Disney World
Disney World, yeah.
and stuff like that. All the theme parks. It's like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Angels in the outfield.
Angels in the outfield. Didn't that have Doc in it?
It did.
Yeah.
It's good. Does it hold up?
Is it
Damiani?
good?
Does it hold up?
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Same.
I mean, because it's what Danny Glover's the active coach,
You
right?
know what I loved was this. What is this one where he does the pitch?
That's
foul?
Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
Rookie of the Year. Rookie of the Year.
That's the one. That's the one.
He was
Okay,
on
did I
the-
ever tell
the
you
Cubs.
as a kid when that like trailer and I saw that movie, in my mind I was like, this is the greatest movie ever made, right? Like this is gonna win the Oscars and stuff. I had no perception. I was like, this is the biggest movie since Home Alone. Let's go.
I mean, I definitely remember kids doing the pitch like he did when we were
That
younger.
and when people try to do Happy Gilmore's golf swing. That was pretty embarrassing.
Like running up.
Yeah, the running swing.
So good.
Yeah, that is really
And the
good.
dude, like his caddy, looked like he was from like some 41 or something.
Halloween is close for us. We are shooting this on the 25th. It's just, like a week away. When we have the next episode, Halloween will be over. So before Halloween ends,
Halloween
I want you
ends.
guys. Halloween did end, I guess. Whatever.
Oh God.
Give the listeners / viewers a quick recommendation of something to watch or play. One of you, one each. I mean, I know you've been watching a ton of movies. Mike,
I mean,
no one has more rituals than Michael Huber, so
Yeah.
you could tell us also.
I mean, I always lead up every October to watching Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow.
Sick.
Great movie.
Just such just the atmosphere. I just want to go there. Every time I watch that movie, it's like I just want to like walk around in this town.
What?
Like
What state is that in?
it's in upstate New York.
Okay.
Is where it takes place
Okay.
in like it's
after the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, it's right after the Revolutionary War, but before like the 1800s, because
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's character is like, oh, the new millennium is upon us, and like he's like new technology and stuff, and they're like, get out of here, like go prove your science by going to solve this
Ichabod?
mystery.
Yeah.
Ichabod Crane,
Ichabod Crane.
Constable Crane.
That's a good suggestion, Damiani. I like.
And a good mystery.
Yeah.
Christopher Walken.
Dude.
With the shark teeth. That's fun.
Just one recommendation is possible, but I'll do it for you, Brad. My intake this year has been quite a bit less than previous years of horror watching.
Yeah.
But one that has stood out is, I think it's French. It's called The Innocents. Not like innocent, like TS, like you're innocent.
CE at the
Sure.
end.
Yeah. The Innocents.
Plague Tale Innocence.
And it's like a combination of Chronicle and The Good Son.
Oh, you told me about this.
Yeah.
Good son. Holy crap.
So it's not like traditional like demons or like a slasher movie, but it is an unsettling dramatic thriller, and it's on Shudder, and it's definitely worth a watch. It's really cool.
Are you sub to Shudder often?
It comes bundled with AMC.
Oh, okay,
Plus.
so yeah, right now you
And
are.
I'm on that AMC Plus for that Walking Dead and that Interview with the Vampire, which is straight up a 10 out of 10. It's phenomenal. Holy shit. Dude, Interview with the Vampire. Every day is like, dude, counting down the days. One day closer. One day closer. It's one of those shows where I like cannot wait for each episode.
I'm gonna recommend. I love these characters in this series, so I'm gonna recommend the Peanuts, the Great Pumpkin special, a true classic. I love those ones. That one and the Christmas one are incredible to me and mandatory watching, no matter your age.
Yeah.
Please check those out. It is the complete opposite of probably what Mike is recommending. So you'll get very jolly and very disturbing.
Yeah.
We cover all the bases.
Last month I rewatched the recent CG Peanuts movie. That was I'd seen it like once when it came out.
Yeah.
Like I still liked it.
Yeah,
Peanuts
it's pretty
is
good. Yeah, Peanuts are awesome, dude. I love the Peanuts. All right, speaking of loving, Mike, you love Batman.
Yeah.
You love Batman.
Love Batman.
You and I have both been playing Little Gotham Knights. You have played more than me.
I played a shit ton yesterday.
You played a shit ton.
A ton.
Let's talk about Gotham Knights. Kind of a weird game.
Fucking weird.
Weird game. Its reception has been weird. Well, I guess it hasn't been weird, but it's been mixed.
Yeah.
Mostly negative, I would say.
Yeah.
Mostly negative.
Dude, I'm swimming.
Mike is swimming.
All right.
I am swimming.
Okay.
I like my lizard brain loves this game.
Wait, your lizard brain?
Yeah,
Okay.
my lizard brain loves this game. I love beating up thugs. I love, like, full stop. I just love existing in Gotham City.
Yes.
Like, Raccoon City.
Top 10 cities. Gotham City's in
Raccoon City, Gotham. Like, if I'm just in that place, I'm automatically, like, in a better place. I'm just, like, happier as a human to be there. So, like, this Gotham City runs like shit.
Yes.
Holy crap.
It does not. It runs
sorted out.
worse than I remember.
Worse
when I was playing it with you.
Yeah. It run like when I unlocked, you have to unlock like advanced traversal mechanics. So when I unlocked Batgirl's glide ability, just gliding around the town.
Oh, no.
Remember this game is 30 frames.
Yeah, I know
this.
this. Yeah, I know this.
Chugging.
No.
This is a current gen game
Only.
on a system that has not been out for very long, and you're already
About 2 years
compromised. Yeah, you're already compromised with 30 frames, and you can't even keep that shit locked.
Yes. It's
Yikes.
I really noticed it more when I was riding the Bat Cycle.
Riding the
I was
Bat Cycle,
it was like
flying
N64,
around.
dude.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
bad.
No.
It was
This
bad,
is
dude.
sounding
I was
not
like,
good.
wow, this is not good.
So you like being in a Gotham where it's
Yeah.
choppy.
So when I'm playing single player and when I'm just zipping, it's not too bad. And it's not always when I'm when I'm gliding, it's not like constant, you know. It just like has these moments where it can be really choppy, you know. But like it's pure. That's the balance, you know. Because with the internet and with like clips always being posted, you know, the classic cycle of like, look at this clip of this crazy, shitty, buggy glitch in this game, and then that's like the perception.
yeah.
It lags periodically, But when you add up the amount of seconds it's lagged over the amount of seconds you've played, it's like not that much, but like it's frequent, so it is a problem. I'm not defending it. It's a problem. It's a big problem.
I was gonna say, it sounds like a kind of a big hang-up for some people, especially when I can hop on the other side of the fence and be swinging across New York as Spider-Man. It's silky smooth. 60 frames.
Now,
what a difference.
Yeah.
Well, when Spider-Man came out, it was 30, but
Still
I don't remember. I remember
well
it being
30.
stable the whole time. Batman is not stable the whole time, which is upsetting.
What didn't Spider-Man have performance?
When it came first out, I don't recall.
Yeah, it did because then
on PS4. Are you sure? I'm
I
pretty. I don't think it did.
Miles Morales was on PS5 at launch, and that had performance and fidelity.
Yeah, because I remember later they added Performance Plus.
Yeah,
which is the ray tracing performance mode. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Either way,
but the PC version, but that's PC.
Yeah, I think. I always get Miles Morales and that confused. I think.
Sure.
And then they had the remaster.
But like so many open world games, like just like 30 frames is what they're shooting for.
Yes.
Just keeping that stable 30 frames
is important.
I mean, even like Xenoblade Chronicles 3 runs mostly stable in its giant open world. So traversal's kind of like one of the bread and butter of, that type of experience.
Yeah, like again, this Gotham is so awesome to just look at, and the mood and vibes of it, I love. Mm-hmm. But it is a little harder to appreciate when your frame rate is dipping.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to talk about with this game, Brad.
Yeah.
Like, settle in.
We'll talk about that more later.
Let's
talk about the game itself, actually.
Yeah.
How are you liking just being the Bat family, essentially, and like what you're doing in Gotham?
I really like it. It's just really inconsistent. This game doesn't know what it wants to be, and it's so hampered by all this other BS that just gets in the way, like loot and all that. Mm-hmm. Like if loot was just stripped away, get rid of crafting materials and loot and all this, and instead hone in on like ability trees, right? Because the ability trees that are there are just super basic. Unlock, there's like 1, then that goes into 2 and 2 more and like down to 1. They're just like really basic skill trees that never feel that huge. When you get it, you're like, okay, cool, I got a little bit of a buff, whatever. Like the gear is where you get buffed. But I would have much rather they just get rid of loot altogether and crafting and all this busy work, and instead hone in on like upgrading your abilities. That means like every time you level up and get XP and an ability point, it like matters a lot. Like that would have been nice. Like all this other stuff feels tacked on. All these like crimes in progress of just like, all right, time for busy work, like beat up the thugs, get the clues. All the combat feels the same, like we did on our preview. Like you have a couple extra abilities.
It hasn't grown much yet.
It's
from what
legitimately just like dodge and attack, dodge and attack.
Very disappointing.
Dude, there have been fights when they're like 20 plus minute fights. I'm not even kidding. I'm playing on hard. I'm playing on hard.
I've noticed that. I think they have too much health. It takes too long.
Oh, great.
Dude,
Sponges.
And like, hey, your game's single player, like, and multiplayer. Dude, I did a mission where it's like single player, and like there were 2 drone enemies, so they spawned 2 drones each. So there's 4 drones shooting at me, and you have to disarm these bombs that are counting down, and they keep reactivating. So you have to run around, disarm them. The drones are shooting at you, and it's like, yo, this is just annoying. Like, this is just tedious. Single player. Because this is clearly designed for multiple players.
I see what you
know.
Yeah.
But then
so
on
it
the
doesn't
other
scale correctly.
Yeah, but then on the other side, it's like, dude, playing with you has been really fun when you're in the open world just beating up thugs. It's awesome. Like, I was like messing around with my skills. Brad got like really far away from me, and then all of a sudden I rolled up on the bat cycle.
Yeah, I saw you trying to run over people.
Like, like power slide, Akira power slide in, get off, like start beating up thugs. Brad's over there beating, like that stuff's awesome. But like, I like playing this game solo because it wants its cake and to eat it too, because then you get to a big story cutscene for this multiplayer game. Oh, it's just that one person is in the cutscene.
Oh.
You know, just the host's game. So it's like trying to have the best of it all, and it ends up falling short on both ends.
Yes.
As a multiplayer game and a single player game.
So
it can't have it both ways, and it tries to.
I would say in our preview, I was more positive at the time.
Yeah.
But things have definitely started to annoy me more as we've gone on through the game. One thing I've really been disappointed in and noticed is when we are fighting together,
Yeah.
when we're like, let's say we're beating up the same thug,
Yeah.
we feel super disconnected when we're fighting someone. We do not feel like a team.
Yeah.
I was like, some of these moves, I wish we like interacted more.
Yeah.
Like we are the
Throw you up.
something like that.
Co-op
where-
shit.
Some
Okay.
co-op
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Like we are the Bat family. These people, these 4 people, are a group.
Yeah.
They should have some chemistry together. Like yeah,
Yeah.
there's some. But Jason Todd's kind of a dick. Like whatever.
Yeah.
That's just who he is. But he's got your back. You know that. I was just like, we were fighting some big dude, and you were doing some like moves, and you would do a move, then he would just like fall over, and I'd have to just kind of wait for him to get back up. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, I wish you and me could do some like team up things or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Co-op
like
attacks.
if they incorporated like, hey, if you're both punching this guy at the same time, we're gonna do some moves together where you guys kind of synergize together, like Yuffie and Sonon from Intergrade.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, I mean, even like RE5 co-op,
Yeah.
like the
Something.
tag team, like anything like
Let
that.
me hold
And
an enemy, and then you
so,
like boom.
am I
boom,
losing my
boom.
mind? I thought one of the first reveal videos teased that or something, like with the 2 players like fighting. They like did.
I haven't seen anything like that.
Tag team moves.
I haven't
That
seen
seems
anything like that.
So.
And in the skill tree, there's been nothing really there.
Oh no, that seems like a big
I was just like,
oversight.
damn.
Because even like for Huber, you're saying like you
Yeah.
also want that single player experience to be good.
Yeah.
I imagine like that's not happening either. You look at like other contemporaries like Guardians with like the squad base, like
Yeah.
having it was part of the design from the beginning.
Yeah.
It feels like maybe this was more about. We just want you to have different character selections, but whether the synergy isn't
Yeah.
the emphasis so much as just beat up on things.
Just beat up on things. Totally.
That stinks.
Multiplayer feels tacked on. It really does. It's like the
Sadly,
main focus of this game,
yeah.
and it just feels forced.
It's not as good as I was hoping it would be.
no.
Like, there's some cool moments. I think that it's cool. Like, when you said we're just kind of open the world, where we're dicking around.
It
but
has its moments.
when we're, like, stealth taking out some guys maybe now and then, that's kind of cool. When, like, I get this, like,
Yeah.
you and me both know, like, we're not even on voice chat when we're doing this.
Yeah.
Like, we just know to go get this guy will do it. Like,
Yeah.
but
Drift compatible.
drift compatible. But yes, I'm just like, man, I wish we would team up for something in an attack. Just something.
Same.
That or just being like creative with you mentioning stealth, just having like the idea of multiplayer stealth. Like
It
being
works pretty well. The stealth stuff really works.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good to hear.
It is-
Someone
it
can
works-
provide,
it
like,
works much
distraction.
better.
If I botch it or Brad botches it, like you feel it, you're like, damn it, because we were like stealthing through and there's a lot of enemies and they all have a shitload of health. So, you know, and it is really fun. Like, and that's another thing where like co-op feels like it was designed for that, because there were so many times too when you're in co-op where it's like, okay, the only way to get stealthier is both at the same time. There's 2 people just standing there like talking.
Yeah,
So like
you both
you
can,
both have to get it at the same time.
That's sick.
That
Yeah.
stuff's really, really
So
good.
that's-
So I think in the
yeah.
open world with like the premeditated and just like the basic crimes and stuff, when you're kind of just grinding it out mindlessly, that's when co-op really works. But when you're on the like story path and story beats, I think single player is just better. There's like story going on. The cutscenes are just one character, so it's like super awkward when when it's 2 people, and again it's in the host's world. So it just feels like it's the worst of both worlds.
Yeah. So my other big question comes to the combat, like the methodical. Is there a methodical nature to it, given the pedigree and history of Batman games from in the Arkham vein? Plus, also coming off this other contemporary again, and going back to Spider-Man, like how much of a joy it is to plan out those attacks on like those high rises, like
So basic.
So is there anything like that
It's
level,
so
or is it
basic.
mostly just?
It's much more basic, Damiani.
Okay.
But the reason I think it is because there's 4 characters, so they kind of want
Okay.
each character to have some unique moves or something to them that makes them feel different. But in that process, each character feels much more watered down.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah,
I haven't
can
played
see
Batman in
that.
a long time, but from what I remember being Batman, I had a lot of options.
So
A
many.
lot of options, like the quick gadgets. I feel like the enemies did more stuff too, like the knife disarming and like,
The blade dodge takedown on
There's
the knife
nothing like that
enemies,
so
the
far.
shield takedowns, the electric batons that you would need to hop over.
Yeah.
Enemies you would need to grapple. There's all these mechanics in there, and this is dodge. So it's either like dodge,
heavy attack.
armor break, which is just like hold square, and then there's like some fast enemies that you'll need to just stun with like a ranged.
Okay.
And then it's like elemental effects, which is like so.
yeah, it's like geared.
That so
stat.
bores me to death. Like,
there still-
oh, get your elemental resistance up. Like, no, I don't care.
Yuck. Are there still boss encounters or boss type fights? Because the original reveal they
Yeah.
showed that.
Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, with all the
Just
numbers
did that
popping
last
up.
night. Just did that last night.
So
Was it cool?
By yourself or with others?
by myself.
Okay, so how
Frame
was it?
rate buckling.
Oh no.
Yeah. Leading up to it.
Was it a cool fight though?
It was a good boss
Cool.
fight. I will give a shout out to that boss fight. It was solid mechanics. It reminded me of MMO style, dude. There's
Okay.
like phases, some like dodging, all like these big circular things you're dodging, and then all these things coming down you're dodging. That was really cool. And yeah, the game just has its moments. Like
Yeah, let's talk about some moments that I heard you talking
Yeah.
positively about, which was the narrative.
yeah,
You seem to have like how they're handling the narrative and like
Yeah.
what they're saying. You're like, this is Batman. They get Batman, is what you were telling me.
Yeah. I did run into the court though, and it's not great. The Court of Owls,
That's very disappointing.
they're tapping into like the surface level, just like the wrong side of the Court of Owls, dude. Like they're going this way when I wanted them to go this way. Everything else has been solid because the side quests are like Mr. Freeze, Harley Quinn. You know, they announced all this stuff ahead of time. Clayface. That stuff's been really good. Yeah, I'm not impressed with the Court of Owls yet.
Right.
Penguin's been really cool. Like all the other side characters are cool. The Bat Family's fun, but it is falling into the familiar rinse and repeat pattern of like, all right, we got our clues. Let's all go back to the Belfry and figure it out. Jason Todd, let's just go attack him head on. You know, Tim Drake. No, we got to think about this because they could have high-tech security.
Yeah.
Dick and Barbara. Hey, let's everyone just get on the same page. Like, the same shit
beats.
over and over.
Kind of like Arrowverse episodes.
Yeah. Sure.
Like every time the Flash brings you to
Yeah.
the hall, it's like
And it's just like, and like this like, bum, 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 music, you know, the background. And then Jason Todd just like, all right, I'm out of here. Bum, 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 bum. Back to it. Yeah. And it's just like the same presentation, the same vibe. Yeah. But I do like the Belfry. I like the
hub?
I like the idea of like going out to the city,
On patrol or whatever.
interrogating thugs, coming back to the Belfry
Yeah.
for the night.
I think
like,
that's cool.
Advancing the villainous plot line.
However-
like, okay, we got him last night. They were like into, you know, they were pulling a heist at this place and we stopped them. And then the next day they're doing like the next stage of their plan. Again, all this stuff on paper is so awesome. I just feel like
this needs a little more.
yeah, I just feel like all this multiplayer loot number stuff was all just thrown on at the last second. Like I feel like the earliest inception of this game was like in the Arkhamverse, single player, playing as the Bat Family. And it sucks to compare to the Arkham games, but like, dude, it's the same dev.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
yeah.
We just had 4 Batman
I
games.
mean, it's a Batman game by the devs that made Arkham Origins. So it's like, yeah, we're going to compare
and
it.
Suicide Squad is coming in the
Yep.
Arkham universe, so it's like sandwiched in between, so
Yes.
the comparisons are always going to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like part of me just wishes it was a more focused single player game where you could just like play as the entire Bat family.
So-
And I don't know.
So there's these missions with, they have like their mission trees of like, here's Mr. Freeze's missions, okay?
yeah.
Now, to get the next phase of a mission, so far what I've seen, it's been, do 5 or 8 crimes out here.
Yeah.
Is it always like that? Is it always just like, beat up 3 or 8 packs of thugs, then you'll unlock the next tier?
It seems like it.
So,
Because then I got to a Clayface one, and it was like, beat up 5 Clayface thugs.
okay.
Like,
Now, there was like some crimes out in the world which I liked that were, here's this crime scene.
yeah.
You just quickly
investigation.
investigate.
Okay, I was gonna
You
ask
quickly
you.
investigate. They're not very long. They're not super depth, but they're cool.
Yeah.
Because they're all like detectives, kind of.
Totally.
Need
Like
that.
Batman.
Yeah.
Now, do they tie those more into the main villains?
Only when you encounter those in like big main quests.
Okay.
A lot of those I've already seen repeat.
Oh,
Like
no.
the actual crime scene has repeated. Here's the fridge. Here's the gun clip underneath. Here's a fingerprint. It's
Oh.
like, what are you
no.
doing?
Oh, no.
What are you doing here? Like that.
Oh.
Think about, I know maybe it's a little frustrating. Like, okay, I know it's not an Arkham game. I know this, and that's why I'm swimming. Okay, because I have accepted it as this weird multiplayer beat 'em up Gotham game, which I'm enjoying on that level. But then I'm also thinking of Arkham Knights and Arkham City's side quests and how every single step and every single one of those was meaningful and would lead to a payoff. Follow all the payphones to track Zaz,
Oh, yeah.
culminating in a Zaz
Zaz.
boss
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
that's
Like,
true.
all this shit would lead up to a boss encounter, whereas this game is just like endless crime in Gotham with no meaning or no
Yeah.
purpose.
It's like cool because I always wanted just to like beat up a thug in the street,
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I
Yeah.
do love that, but it feels like that's all that it is right now.
Yeah,
When there
and-
needs to be more.
Yeah, and that stuff is like repeating itself.
Yes.
So it's already becoming
Stale.
a bit tedious.
Or like, I'm not that far
Yeah.
into the game, and I'm like,
yeah.
are you gonna make me do like 8 of these
Yeah.
to get the next step? It's like, man,
Dude, the next step for you, Brad, it's going to be really tedious. Like, you don't have to fully engage with it all, but like, there's Lucius Fox on the map now.
Yeah.
There's Montoya on the map now. There's other people on the map, and it's like, craft me some gear. Go stop these crimes in progress. And it's like,
okay.
I think this stuff is designed to be like endlessly repeatable.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
thinking-
Sounds like
It's
it.
MMO life service thing.
But it's just like, that stuff's not great. That stuff's like
This is-
kind of
yeah.
filler content there.
Yeah. That loses its luster pretty quick.
Yeah. Just again, like leaning into the loot, repeatable
loot cycle.
Yeah.
which is like not great.
Yeah, the loot hasn't been that sick yet. Like I'm not far into the game, but I haven't gotten
Yeah.
anything where that felt like it dramatically changed
No.
how I'm playing or anything like that.
Yeah, and Brad, in the first couple hours of this game too, like I've been rocking Barbara Gordon as the main, and within the first couple hours, I unlocked the skin that I can just use on all my gear. So like I'm done with the look of my character.
Yeah.
Within the first couple hours of this game. So finding loot isn't even cool because it looks cooler. It's just like, okay, my numbers are going up. Which again, I don't care about my numbers.
don't think-
it would have been so much
yeah.
more satisfying for like me to unlock some ability that I could then bring into combat for combat to change.
I think that's what they're trying to do with the talent tree, but it hasn't
It's
been
too limiting.
It hasn't been like quite good enough.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, man, I can't wait to get that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
Like there's some decent things where like Nightwing, who I've been playing as, there's like, hey, you'll be able to res a teammate once per night with like you can shoot them from a distance. I'm like, that's cool, but it's the very last thing in this tree.
Got it.
I'm like, all right, that's all right, I guess, but not as like sick as I would want.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And they're gonna do that 4-player mode down the line.
Yeah. Which is going to be all elemental based. Get ready for that. better have your elemental gear for this 4-player battle.
I don't know how excited I am for that unless there's like some really cool thing with a villain or something.
Yeah. And straight up the drone enemies, most annoying enemy to fight
annoying.
single player.
Super annoying.
Single player?
I know.
Drone enemy, like, dude, lower their health. It is absurd. I'm not even kidding. None of these fights should be 20 minutes long.
So I'm going to just bump it on normal because I'm tired of these things taking so long.
Same, yeah. Like, it's not a fun challenge when your fight is just like 20 or 30 minutes. You haven't really killed me single player either yet, so it's like no shame in turning it down.
It just takes too long sometimes. I'm just like, all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
like I'm not playing Destiny, you know, I'm not shooting Fogoth.
Yeah.
Or whatever, but it feels like it.
Yeah. And again, like, sorry for the comparisons. Like, I'm imagining being Batman in a 2015 video game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sitting on top of a perch as thugs rob a bank. Hey, I'm doing that exact same thing in Gotham Knights.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite things to do. Stop a bank heist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the combat's just okay.
Combat's not deep as it should be.
You know?
It's not as satisfying as it should be.
Yeah. And movement as well. I've got Barbara Gordon's glide, and I feel slow, you know?
Yeah,
you can do the dive and the swoop up, but you don't have the grapnel accelerator. Grapple X, swooping up and then flying like, I'm just like slowly kind of gliding.
So with Nightwing, I have like this like flying glider thing almost. That's like I can fly as long as I want. Yeah. I can go up and down as long as I want.
Yeah.
Can you do that with Barbara, or is hers very much a glide?
It's very much a glide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
It
Jason Todd has like something where he walks, right?
Yeah.
Like
silly.
On pads.
Yeah, I actually do. So I always like in JRPGs and shit when you have to level up characters individually. I think it makes them matter more. Like, let me level this character. You know, if they're not on the battle, why are they getting XP? You know. So all the characters do level up the same, but their gear is
different, yeah.
And their Night Watch ability, you have to like manually unlock that for everybody.
Yeah, you got to do the challenges.
Which is kind of cool. So like, I do like that.
If you want to, yeah. It very much feels like, yo, I'm going to lock in this hero for a while. I'm going to be this hero for a while.
Yeah.
I'm not going to experiment because it's like, I should focus on one for now.
Yeah.
And maybe down the line you can do that.
And shout out to whoever's writing all the logs. Shout out. I want to give a personal shout out to you for those logs, whether they're like character profiles or just like finding a historical landmark in Gotham and reading about it. I lap that shit up.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
So, just an inconsistently weird game that feels bogged down and misguided.
I really
think... To me, it's misguided direction.
Yeah. I think if this game ran better, too, people would be happier.
Yes.
Because it's affecting the play, dude. It's just like kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure if this is 100% true. I heard this, but I could be wrong. I haven't checked or looked in depth, so I could be totally wrong. But people said it has like ray trace reflections and stuff like that for it. And it seems like they focused more on that side of the game.
Because if I'm sitting on top of a perch, again, dude, Gotham looks freaking awesome. It really does.
I just think, yes.
You just look out, you see all the clouds and the fog and the lighting and everything. It just doesn't run well.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I was the developer, I would have tried to focus more on performance than that.
Yeah. I agree.
Because, like, there's a lot of combat in this game.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like that.
And they said, like, multiplayer, like, that reduces frame rate. Again, so many problems would have been fixed if this was a single-player game.
Yeah,
so
but it's
many
like,
problems.
I understand. I'm not a game dev. I don't know what it's like to make this game. Not every game is made the same, so I don't know that. But I would have been like, and I don't know if they had more time or if they just were like forced to put this game out. But it's like, man, when you say it because of co-op, it's like, man, a lot of games have co-op and they run good.
Yeah,
it's like, I know this is open world, but come on, man.
Yeah,
it's like, I guess like. Drop some of the quality.
All the way over there, I can be all the way here. And
I just drop some of the visual fidelity, though.
Yeah, just a bit.
I would much rather drop that. I think most people would nowadays. People are much more aware of frame rate than ever before.
100%.
And people are like, well...
Especially nowadays when those older games have been like patched up and people realize how big of a difference it is. Like those last gen patches where it's like, wow, 60 frames makes a huge difference.
We're going to get more into this later about this whole frame rate debacle, so we'll see. But I will say, I do appreciate, even though it's not as deep as I want it to be, I do appreciate they try to make characters feel a little different. Like, I like that Robin
feels really nice.
So Robin can he's better at stealth, so he can stealth some of the big boys.
He's invisible. I was like right next to people.
Yeah, I was like, that's cool.
Him,
I like that. It seems like Nightwing has like some nice support stuff.
Yeah.
Batgirl seems like just a brawler kind of thing, and Jason Todd's like really good at shooting, I guess. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay.
He can grab big enemies mid-fight, which is really
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would say this game's disappointing. But there's some fun to be had. You have to overlook some stuff though.
Yeah.
Like Mike is having fun. You're having fun.
I'm obsessed with the Batman universe. So like again, reading a plaque about Gotham Central Park
cool.
makes me happy in my life. So like I can put up with a lot of trash in a Batman game because I just love the world.
I get that
so much.
I get that. And it's like, I want to keep playing this game. I'm going to finish this game. Like, I'm enjoying it enough to do that. But however, there are just so many blemishes on this thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn.
Yeah. Court of Owls, huge
so far,
dude.
So far,
What are you doing?
It's okay. You can let it out.
Yeah, it just needed a little more restraint too. But again, like, I've talked so much shit on the multiplayer side of it, and I think it's justified. Like,
sure, yeah.
The multiplayer side of it holds the story back.
It does.
It holds everything back. All for the sake of like just cracking skulls next to each other, which is awesome, but I would rather have other areas of the game be propped up and that removed.
Or even like,
because the story doesn't
single player, but then there's like a multiplayer mode or something that's different.
Exactly,
which sounds like what their 4-player modes can be. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is a really good example.
Yeah, you have your single player crafted game, and then your little multiplayer.
And it's like if you want different characters you play as, like you can just pick your character.
Yeah,
if you want, Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Like Court of Owls needed a lot of like.
Yeah,
it just needed some like time and build up. Like I mean, I just feel absurd, like wishing and asking for all these things. Like maybe we could have gone out during the day as the Bat family. I don't know, and done some things as Barbara Gordon.
I mean, there's been a lot of Batman games, man. Yeah. This is like what, the 5th one?
Yeah, because we haven't done that really. Like, where's that part of the game? And that would have really led into it. It's not me just like asking for all these weird random things. Like I'm asking for a purpose, you know, like daytime stuff to investigate the Court of Owls on the daytime side of things. Like,
I wonder if they thought about that, but they're like, maybe it'd be too boring for people, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gotham City is never in the day, like ever. They never do it in games.
Yeah.
We have some questions about this. This is from Cody Spencer. Would Gotham Knights benefit from having full 4-player co-op? At this point,
full 4-player,
like the whole time. At this point, there hasn't been anything sick enough where I'm like, no, this needs to stay 2 because of these reasons.
Yeah.
So far, there hasn't been a reason where I'm like, aside from a technical one, I guess maybe now that's it.
I imagine what I've played, which is quite a lot now. I'm very far into this game. Nothing I've seen could handle 4 players. It would be chaos.
Sure. Yeah.
It would be absolute chaos. Because Brad and I, 2 players is already like, okay.
Yeah.
Stealth it up in this small environment with just the 2 of us. Or if it's in the city, like, big street fight. Like 4 players in a street fight would be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But a lot of these indoor places, I can't imagine.
It'd be too much.
Yeah, I imagine the 4-player mode that's coming later has much bigger interiors. Yeah. Much bigger.
Or they send you like the different spots.
Yeah.
Each person gets assigned like a floor.
You have 10
like
minutes. Yeah. Go to these places and meet back here in the allotted time or something. Okay. Yeah.
And like you flipping a switch here opens a door down there or something.
Yeah.
Reptile Scorpio wrote in, howdy allies, with Gotham Knights ending up so muddled after a very lengthy development period. I'm finding it hard to get excited for the also long in production Suicide Squad game, even though Rocksteady has had such a strong track record.
Rocksteady.
Do you think Warner Brothers will ever let the teams go back to the Arkham single-player games, or do you think the evergreen lure of co-op and games as a service is too strong?
Great question. Great question.
Great question.
Such a great question, because you know, we go back in time. Let's go back in time post Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Multiplayer games after that were starting to get on the rise again. These live service games, you know, these games take years to make.
Yeah,
So I imagine they were laying the groundwork, you know, years ago. There was obviously that sale with WB, you know, remember all that going down, like what's going to happen with them, multiple delays. So I think like they hitched their wagon to that multiplayer horse. But I feel that shifting back now to like, you know, people want single player games.
Yeah, this game has been in development, I think, a very long time.
Yeah, it feels like
Arkham Origin was like a PS3
maybe?
360 game.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
and as far as I'm aware, they haven't made anything else between that.
No.
So this game's been a long time coming.
Yeah. I think it all depends on how Suicide Squad goes.
Suicide Squad is, to me, the real test.
Yeah. Like if the public is saying, "Yo, can't this game just be single player?"
Yeah.
Then you've made a mistake.
Because that's what's happening with Gotham Knights, I feel like.
Sure.
I've seen a lot of people just be like, "Dude, this multiplayer feels like tacked on."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping Rocksteady will make the multiplayer much more part of the gameplay. Feel like more important, more incorporated better.
No disrespect to Arkham Origins. I know
Right.
there's like so many weird defenders out
But
there.
I'd say
who
it's like
would put it at like number one in the Arkhamverse, which I completely disagree with. I love Arkham Origins.
Right.
I love it. But I think quality wise it is the worst.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Of the four.
Yeah.
Combat and story.
Yeah.
Obviously Asylum was first, so it's a little limiting.
Yeah, sure.
But I trust Rocksteady.
Yeah. This is from Corrigal, I don't know. Yeah. If there was a fifth Bat family character available, maybe future DLC, who would you want that fifth person to be?
Ooh. I mean, Damian Wayne's the obvious choice.
Damian, yeah.
Wayne, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Like a little scrappy,
It makes sense.
aggressive, like aggressive style.
Do you think he'd be too close to Jason Todd, though, in that sense?
You could differentiate because Todd in this game is such a brute,
Yeah.
such a bruiser, whereas Damian could be like the rogue class,
Okay.
like high DPS, glass
Squishy.
cannon, squishy, yeah. I think that would work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they also had one quick answer.
Yeah.
Should I play Plague Tale 1 before 2? I would say
Absolutely.
yes.
100%. Direct follow-up.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Gotham Knights.
Inconsistent.
It's inconsistent.
I have so many thoughts. This podcast is going to end, and I'm going to be like, dude, there's a million things. Like, I want to talk about this game for hours because it's so weird and fascinating. And, like, part of me loves it. Part of me is disgusted by it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how we feel when we finish it. Time will tell. Yeah. Hopefully, we enjoy it more by the time we finish it. Don't know, though.
see how the story pays off.
Yeah.
Because the court stuff is a huge disappointment.
Now, Hubert,
So huge.
the next game is not inconsistent for you at all.
Okay.
All killer for you, no filler.
Evil Within 2.
No. No. But you're going to be just as hyped.
Oh, yeah.
Is Persona 5 Royal.
Oh, baby.
So, I've been playing. Persona 5 Royal finally came to other platforms.
Yeah.
It's on Switch now. It's on PC. It's on Xbox. It's on, now it's current gen on PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
I checked out the PlayStation 5 version of this game.
Yeah.
Boy, is it clean.
Oh!
It is so clean. First of all, it's 60 frames now. It looks very good in motion. Really good. Man. Now, Damiani, I know me and Hubert absolutely adore this game. I know
10,
you
10,
do
10,
not
10.
like it as much. I know 3 is your favorite.
Yeah. So what's your question?
No, I was just going to say, to to me, I've played 3, 4, and 5. I think 5 is the best one. For me, personally, I think without a doubt, it's the best one. But I'm curious. You've not played
I've
Royal.
Played 4 and 5.
Royal makes some nice changes. Would you be willing to check this game out again, or you're like, nah, I'm okay?
Probably not.
It is a very long game.
Then that's your answer right there.
Took me 92
because I definitely am cool with games that people want more and more of.
Yeah.
I have games like that myself, or I can't get enough of them, and I want them to keep going. Persona 5 was not that for me. I was ready for the end.
You did beat it though, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
yeah. You
but
beat
that last dungeon before like the real the finale.
Sure, yeah.
Dragged on a little too long, and I love the concept that they were doing with the dungeons.
Yeah.
I just think a lot of them went on too long, and I get the concept. You don't need to finish it and right away. You can come back.
Yeah.
You just need to hit checkpoints. My mind doesn't work like that.
You go in a dungeon, you finish it off.
I don't want to bounce around between multiple things. When I'm enjoying something, I want to stick with it. Now, technically, you could just leave, fast forward through everything else really quick and go right back. But I also enjoyed the other parts of the game, the social aspects and the daytime activities. I didn't want to do that. So I felt, to me, that these two things I enjoyed, the design philosophies were at ends with each other the way I wanted to play.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I'm not trying to pick you by any means whatsoever. I'm just curious because you told me Persona 3 is your favorite. Now, Persona 3 has the same thing of you're going through Tartarus, and you're not expected to finish Tartarus, the floors, every time. It's very much about the same thing of going in and going out and doing social stuff like that. What about that do you prefer more? I'm sure it's been a very long time since you've played it.
So there you go. That's the first thing is that the last time I played this was when P3 Portable came out
But
like 10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
When you're going through Tartarus, it's like one objective, it feels like.
Tartarus is like,
versus going into different dungeons which have
Tartarus
their own
is like different floors. You get to this floor, you fight a boss.
It's
it
the
changes
real
the theme
rogue
slightly.
It's the randomized layout. The thing with me is that you're trying to hit checkpoints, and it's presented from the get-go that this is a massive game-wide dungeon that you're not going to finish on your first time. Persona 5, these are like chapters, and these are the conclusion to character stories.
Like arcs,
And I've just been drilled into me that dungeon means in this kind of format means we're pushing towards a conclusion here.
Got it.
So having to eject from that when I'm so close to getting this resolution here, I want to see what happens with this character. What how do the Phantom Thieves? What's the outcome here? I just didn't enjoy having to back out, even though I think one time I did do it just to like do it. I'm like, okay, this is a little long. Let me back out here. It did feel, that one felt like a little bit more natural. I forget which one it was. But everything else about Persona 5, I think is in terms of like the social aspects, they've been improving since 3.
Yeah.
3, I think, was just kind of the first one. It was like the time, like it was.
At the time, it was crazy, and it's like that was the one to me that
the music was so good,
made Persona like how we know Persona now.
It's a little bit of your first is your favorite syndrome.
Sure, where that was also my favorite. The Fez or FEZ version is the one I played. And I played a lot of that, but then I finished it. The PSP version, I finished.
Yeah.
Damiani, it's so funny hearing you say you're like ready for it to end, because Persona 5 for me, like I always talk about how timing is so much, like timing and expectations and mood, and like timing is everything.
Yeah, it is.
When I play a game, and like the timing was perfectly. Persona 5 is the longest game that I've ever finished that I just did not want to end. I was at 100 hours, like 100 hours it took me to beat that game. Every second, Damiani, I was just like, please don't end. I want more and more. And like, go forever, Persona 5. Go forever.
So I feel that, but maybe it's also like game lengths too. I feel more shorter games. You know I love these games.
Yeah.
So don't take this the other way, because I know these games have been criticized for their lengths.
Yeah.
Games like Resident Evil 3's remake, loved what was there.
Yeah.
But I wanted more.
Yeah. Fair enough.
RE4 is a game. I played so much. Every time I get there, I'm like, man, I want more. Like, can there be a new environment? Keep going. Like, one of the longest Resident Evil Village, castle. The most recent Village. I was like, that's it. There's not one more zone. I'm like, oh, come on. I was like, yes. Yeah. So I definitely have that feeling. Yeah. I don't think it's for games that are 100 hours or plus.
Fair, yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That was one. I was very much at the end. I'm glad. Let's end this. Like I'm ready for this to end.
I even had it, and that's one of my favorite games ever made. Yeah. Like for some reason though, Persona just like.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, all your qualms with this game, I totally get. Yeah. Like, I don't think you're wrong.
But that's it. It's just length, and then some of the like the structure, like does dungeons still adhering to. They're not really meant to be completed on your first playthrough in one going. You're supposed to back out.
Yeah.
So those were the two biggest rubs. But otherwise, an excellent game, barring a few other issues. But I'm very excited about hearing again, because I think back in the day, Ben did talk about OG Persona 5 Royal with the changes. I remember asking about how long it took to get to the new stuff. But you were saying they make other changes. I might have forgotten about these. So they're like just basic quality of life changes.
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with those.
Well, they've rebalanced the whole game, I know. Like all the enemies, stuff like that. Now, so some small things I've noticed is your firearms, in a fight now, you have less ammo. However, it replenishes after every fight. And I believe it used to be every time you go out of the dungeon or come back in. So you could use your pistol or whatever you firearm anytime. So I'm pretty early in the game right now. I'm in the castle. And I'm just shooting the shit out of everything. Because I'm like, oh, whatever, the ammo resets. And it does good damage. I was like, blah, 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 blah. All that good stuff. There's a new character in this game.
Are you playing on normal, hard?
I'm just playing on normal right now because I'm just getting my feet wet again. If I'm feeling like if it's too easy, I'll boost it a little up. I'm not going to do the hardest difficulty, though. I'm not going to do that. That's for people that are super into this. There's a new character now, a new girl. I don't really know her. I think she's much later in the game. There's a new semester, I believe, at the end of this game. This game is just longer from the first game. But there's new cutscenes. There's this new character named Jose, I'm not sure how you pronounce his whole name. He's in the Mementos kind of thing like that, a new character to help you get through there. They've streamlined some of the things when you're in the car now. If you're a higher level, you can just kind of run through guys and not have to fight them.
Oh, nice.
You can just get XP. They've made just some small streamlined changes. This game is massive, so I've not discovered all of them. I think there's some more events with characters and stuff like that. But to me, this is an excellent time to play this game. If you've played it before and you enjoyed it or played it, I think it's different enough. Yes.
You said right now is an excellent time. Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yes, right now.
Right now?
Okay.
There's no other new games to play?
No, I'm saying right now. This is one of the best games you could play all year. And this game's not new. It's still one of the best games you can play all year. No question in my mind.
This is a great game to save for December.
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you're not into if you don't care about God of War or whatever, it's bro, this game is.
I mean,
play
sure,
this game.
you don't have that, but I mean, you got Bayonetta dropping this week.
I mean, not everyone cares about Bayonetta. I know plenty of people don't care about that game.
I mean, you have other RPGs.
Modern Warfare. You got some multiplayer.
It doesn't matter to me though. This game is excellent, and this is the best version to play this game.
I agree.
In the best state it's ever been.
I haven't even played it, and I can't even disagree.
If you have,
I feel like it's a good game. So maybe this is for veterans. More advice for veterans. I feel it's a great game to be playing in the background, in between other main games. Maybe not your focus game, but a game you're just taking at a slow pace, because isn't that the message in that game? Take your time.
Right
so I played this and I was like, I just want to keep playing this.
Yeah,
that's what I was feeling when I was playing it. And dude, this game's on Game Pass, man. If you have Game Pass, this is one of the greatest Game Pass games of all time.
Royal?
Yes.
I think that was the big thing.
Yes.
It would be part of Game Pass.
Dude, nice.
Dude, if you play it, you can play it on
nice.
You can play it on Switch now if you like the handheld style, or if you don't have anything else, you got PC also now. It's on everything. This is an excellent game.
How much do you think that costs, Phil?
How many millions?
Yeah. that on Game
No,
I don't know.
I think this was because the
was a little freebie?
Sega parent Sega Sammy parent company.
Oh.
Microsoft's relationship with Sega is very good.
Yeah,
I think
but
they just
No,
this
they
was,
pay for this. Microsoft's paying them.
Oh,
to
they
have
did,
This.
but I don't think it was like as expensive as you're thinking.
Okay, not like Arc style.
No, just because it's coming to every other platform, I don't think this is.
Okay.
Well, this is multi-million-dollar, I believe.
Yeah.
Probably.
Interesting.
Like they paid money for this,
That's
no question.
a really good get. That's
Yeah, it's a
great
very good
value.
get.
Wow.
But
You
Yeah,
better
especially
grind
after
that
Microsoft
out.
buys them outright.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
You're gonna have to spend a couple months sub to finish that one off.
Maybe
but
if
still.
you're just like zoned up and you're like, yo, I'm playing
Yeah,
this.
they know it's like at least a $2-3. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be doing how much is it? Sorry, even the introductory rate. It's like first month's $1 or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay more than even
2
$1.
months, dude,
yeah,
2 months
We're
for
gonna
that.
get you the full rate at least 1 month.
Yeah,
there.
you can play it on Steam Deck. It's like you got options now. Persona.
Yeah.
To me, Persona is one of the best JRPGs you can play.
Yeah.
Period. And a great introduction to maybe if you don't like JRPGs.
Yeah. It is expensive, Brad, but it's really nice that it's on Game Pass. And it's
Yeah,
also,
I mean, this is the third time I've owned this game now.
Yeah. It's also really nice on two fronts. One, people that have never played Persona, they get the best version
Yeah.
of this legendary game, instant classic. And then two, it's nice, other than the price, that sucks if you've already played it.
Yeah.
But if you've already played it, you get all this new stuff. You get a better version of the game you played. Like I love replaying games, even ones that don't have any new things. You know, just
Sure,
coming
yeah.
back to a game and playing it again. Coming back to a game I love that runs better and has new content. I mean, that is the dream. That's all you can hope for. So you've sold me, Brad. Like this was always in the back of my mind, but now I'm like,
Well, it's not going anywhere.
I'm itching to play this, but I just
But,
don't have time.
Like, guaranteed, if you play this, you're going to have an excellent time.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I wish there was some kind of like upgrade pack.
Nope.
But
No, the
Atlas,
100
baby.
That was
No way.
already shot down.
No way.
yeah,
You're paying premium. Yeah, let's get Game Pass.
Game Pass. What a get! That
Yeah,
is
it's a huge get.
Incredible.
It's a great get.
Wow.
Especially because, like,
Wow.
you know, Microsoft doesn't have, like, the best Japanese game supports.
Yeah.
And, like, RPGs.
This
They don't
is
get
the
a lot
peak.
of them.
This
So,
is the top of the mountain.
I mean, it was good to go in hard on this for them.
Yeah.
I would have done that.
Just be able to say you played a Persona game on Xbox. Worth the 1 month. Worth 1 month of Game Pass.
The most Japanese game on the most American system. Yeah.
This is from David Warren. Persona 5 was my first Persona game, and I loved it. After my wife played Dragon Quest XI on Switch, which was her first JRPG, I told her to give Persona 5 Royal a try.
Tens right there.
She got all the way to the vanilla ending and loved it, but found out that she hadn't done enough to unlock the extra royal content at the end.
Oh, you have to unlock
This-
some
Yes.
I
shit.
think this is what was brought up.
Oh, I don't know
in the
about
past.
this.
There was no option but to replay the whole game.
Yeah, this is. I think. Yeah, and this is what I would think. I was like, it's kind of fogging my brain. What was brought up before that? Not only is it not clear about this.
Yes,
it's
I
so
don't know
far in,
exactly
yeah.
what the requirements are.
Yeah, what are the parameters
I don't know.
here?
But
Definitely
What?
need to look it up.
Definitely
before
look
you
it
go
up.
in. Especially
Yes.
if this is not your first playthrough, you need to look it up. Make sure you don't miss it.
Whoa.
oh shit, hold on, sign me out of my email.
It's not like a
Dude.
FromSoft or Hollow Knight DLC where it's like, oh, it's cryptically hidden, but you won't perma miss it.
What in the world? I usually don't miss shit because I do every quest
Yeah, I
and
don't
side
know.
quest. But if you have to do something other than like side quests,
I don't know.
Then that's weird.
Yeah.
Now-
talk to certain characters.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't
Just
know.
so you know,
What?
there's like 2 new confidants also, Heber. So more bonds possible. And I think, oh, sorry, I didn't even talk about this.
You need to
I just
stop.
remembered.
You seriously need to stop.
There's a new district you can go to.
There you
I
go.
believe there's a darts mini game now too.
There you
Something
go.
else like that. So
I thought you were about to say like
nice
arcade.
content. Sorry, I totally forgot about that.
New
kind of stuff.
arcade.
Like I'm not super far into. I got to like the 3rd palace on the original Royal, but it's been a while. Like I played that years ago. Anyway, sorry. Back to their question.
Wow.
No option to replay the whole game, which I did for her. So this guy replayed it for her. What a
That is insane. I
Yeah.
need to know the
What a guy.
parameters.
Which I did for... Yeah, go ahead and look it up. So it's one of the few games I've ever replayed.
I'm actually just looking at the release dates of the game.
But that whole thing, the whole thing was really awful, and I hope they never do anything like that again, as it just punishes new players who aren't up to the meta level respect. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how substantial the new semester is in this game.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's the end of the game, and that's brand new content. It's like, come on, man, they already bought the game. Just give them the fucking extra
Isn't
content.
a semester like another third of the game?
I don't know how long it is. I have no idea. I believe it's like a whole new dungeon arc thing with this new character, I assume.
Just going off North American release date, I like this. So the original was 2017.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then Royal was 2020.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3 years later. And then now, 2022.
Yeah.
The end of 2022. So basically like 2.5 years. So like pretty much 3 years in between the versions of this game. But it feels like each, like the original Persona 5 Royal was a big step up in terms of like content and everything.
We
and
have...
life. And then now this version, just with all the tech buffs, it's really nice.
We have an update from our live chat letting us know, okay? So the same thing happened to Nick on our live chat, but they had a save so they could do it before. One thing I would just say is make multiple saves when you play a game like this. I would just recommend.
So you need
just
to
for
build
safety.
your bonds with all the new characters.
Yes. And the original final team member you earn. Okay, so I'm not there yet, so I don't know, but that's apparently how you do it. I don't know how...
Okay. So prioritize...
I don't know how natural that feels in the game. I'm not sure, but I guess that's the thing to do.
I mean, if you... Sometimes, like, I'll prioritize people I like more, obviously, but, like, sometimes I'll prioritize whoever I get in the party first. So it's like, if I met all these people first, I'm going to spend all my time, like, building those bonds. So by the time I get to these ones that, you know what I'm saying? By the time I get to these ones, it's like, oh, I'm out of time. Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be stressful.
But I'll make sure it
should be...
Good note now.
Yeah, I like wouldn't do that from a design standpoint, but
yeah,
that's just how it is right now, I guess.
I really want to play Persona 5 now. Damn it.
This question is from Francisco. Question. I love me a good JRPG, and Persona 5 Royal looks especially tempting after its launch on Game Pass and years of praise. However, I can't stand time management mechanics in games, as managing my time in my non-digital existence is already tough enough. The time management is what took me out of Persona 4 Golden when I tried to play on Vita years ago. Would you still recommend Persona 5 Royal even with the time management? And if not, what are some other modern or indie JRPGs you recommend? A lot of respect, Frankie. So, Frankie, that is like a huge component of these games, is deciding what you want to do. There's no like, you're not sitting in the world and a clock is ticking down kind of thing. It's like you have time here, you figure out what you want to do there. If that stresses you out, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
Straight up.
It's all perception. I don't look at it like time management. I look at it like choices.
Yes.
It's like, all right, which choice? Here's my choice now.
Now, here's the thing I would recommend, and what I do is I just do whatever I feel like on this time.
Yeah.
And I do what feels like I want to do in this time. That I would do. I don't worry about this other thing. However, now you kind of got to worry about if you want to get the extra content. You got to make sure you do those 2 confidants, okay?
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks.
It's such a long game. Like,
that sucks. That's not good.
You're like looking out for...
You need to patch that.
Yeah.
You need to patch that, okay?
Yeah.
It needs to be like a schedule manager
But it
option
sounds
where it's
like-
I want to prioritize getting to the DLC. Like, make sure...
You got Damiani brain where you got to try to do everything at once kind of thing. You got to just go with the flow and just do what feels right for your character. You cannot... If you stress about every single thing you do, you're going to have a bad time. You need to just go with the flow. And that's what the game's about.
Yeah.
It's living life.
The completionist
Yes.
mindset.
Like, if you want...
I've got it.
If you want to do the completionist mindset, dude, just play with a guide, man.
Yeah.
I know the trophy now, you don't have to play the game multiple times, so it's probably possible to do most of everything in one playthrough if you're super up to date. Like, if you are worried about all that stuff, I would just recommend playing the guide. And if you have Game Pass, which it sounds like you do, like, just give it a spin.
Yeah.
You don't got much to lose.
Nothing to lose there.
Give it a spin. I will say, though, this game, like, the first 6 hours of this game is like a tutorial.
Yeah.
But still, even during that 6 hours, it's very good. And absolutely worth it, in my opinion. And Mike's. Give it a shot, Frankie.
Yeah, give it a shot. Or give Dragon Quest a shot.
Or give Dragon Quest a shot. Dragon Quest is very much
traditional.
A different side, yeah. You don't have to worry about as much in Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is just like, hey, don't die.
Yeah. Let's get that Dragon Quest 8 on PlayStation Plus, huh? Just throw that up there.
Yeah, sure. Pew. All right. It is time for everyone's favorite segment, Sort It Out.
Sort it out.
This is a segment where we just kind of discuss anything that annoys us in the gaming industry. It could be a game company, just whatever, anything, any like mechanics in it. Doesn't matter. Whatever you got. Let me know, Mike. Do you have anything this week? Please don't do the dual sensing. I think you've done that like 3 times. I'm going to throw down a rule where you can't do dual sense or you can't do PSN Classics.
Sort it out, Hubert.
Sort it out.
Yo.
Yeah.
Frame rate is more important than graphics. Sort it out.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't care.
Especially depending on the game. Like if it's an action game.
I don't care how beautiful your game looks. It looks worse in 30 frames. Unless I'm standing perfectly still. Mm-hmm. What's even the point of dressing your game up all nice, getting it all pretty for us, if it's just going to run 30 frames?
At least try to have the mode, performance, fidelity, whatever.
It reminds me of having like a sports supercar in rush hour traffic. Like, what is the point?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, especially because like Sony's been very good about it, like all the multiple modes.
Yeah.
Like the 40 frames and all that like stuff.
It's just
20, 120.
Yeah, Brad, I feel like we're at a turning point here, but this conversation, this Gotham Knights conversation has gained some traction. Yeah. It's gotten so big. And the Callisto Protocol got in there. They were like, yo, we're going to have options, like third-party game here. We're at a turning point where I feel like games being made in a few years, like, they're either going to be 30 or 60. Like, I hope moving forward, devs are looking at all this, paying attention, and are like, yo, I think people care more about 60 frames.
Yeah.
I'd say so now.
I hope that's true. I hope they realize that. Sort it out. Let's get some 60 frames games for this generation.
Damiani, do you have anything? It's okay if you don't.
Let's see. Sort it out. Capcom, where's my RE4 demo? How dare you show that game off and not even mention a demo? Like, that's some bullshit.
Well, they did a reverse
and then you didn't give us reverse beta. Like, what? No one wants to play reverse. It's already, people are already playing it.
Yeah.
I saw some people playing it already.
Yeah.
On stream.
What am I doing right now, dude?
You've been playing other stuff.
Yeah, you're playing Gotham Knights.
Don't worry, we're going to play it like Friday.
Yeah, it's on Friday.
Okay.
Friday. Just missing the early access is all. That's okay. Nothing wrong, but that's cool.
Cool.
What else? Sorted out. Bayonetta voice actor, chill. Like what the heck?
Yeah, it's been a lot.
Like doubling down after being exposed is not such a good look. No. And listen, raising awareness for shitty pay, just in general, still a valid cause, and no reason to dismiss it.
Yep. Yeah.
But after that two thorough reports come out, and trying to come back and like trying to paint everyone else as the villain, like just you were like somebody to like tackle them and like just stop, like just shh, because now like you're ruining the legacy. Like you could have like at least apologized, say, okay, maybe it was like a misunderstanding or something, walked away, saved some face, but now it's like, you still got Bayonetta 1, 2, great games, but now people can hear that voice and be like, hey, remember that crazy person who tried to like do this and like actively trying to sabotage other people like that, like saying to boycott the game, don't support Jennifer Hale, like no, like getting nasty and shit, man. Like when you weren't even like telling the truth. Yeah. Some vindictive shit, man.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
It's pretty.
It's a constantly evolving story. It's not over yet.
Also, sort out social media sucks. Like the whole ordeal, like just like being baited and stuff.
Yeah.
Like gotta
because think about how
chill,
different.
man.
Think about how different the vibe is if like that conversation is happening in a room together, like in a real time, versus like social media post 1 day later, social media post like 1 day later, some forum post. Like what? Yeah. Wish we could all just talk it out.
Yeah,
Sort it out.
I don't have anything off the top of my head, but
No,
maybe
sort
something
it
will
out?
come to me. I don't know. We'll see.
Sort it out.
I mean, this is my show. I can do whatever I want.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
I'm the
It
host.
seems unprecedented
That's
not
what
having to sort it out, but I guess, hey, if nothing needs to be sorted out, that's a win.
Off the top of my head,
That's
nothing.
good.
It could come to me later, though.
Got it.
yeah.
Go ahead, Damiani.
This is not even game related. Just want to get this off my chest. Yo, because of like shortages and shit.
Yeah.
No Halloween themed chocolates this year from Ghirardelli.
Oh,
the squares. They do like
okay.
the pumpkin spice and like the
yeah.
none this year. At least at my markets. I'm like, sucks.
Damn.
Sort it
All right,
out.
I got one. Oh, no, never mind. This is not game related. I can't do it. Sorry. Never mind.
I gotta get some Count Chocula.
Yeah, you got to get some Count Chocula. Sorry. Fear not, though. We got plenty of sorted outs from viewers
Yeah.
and listeners. Here we go. This is from Jeremy Geller.
Let's hear it.
Sorted out. Why can't I import my vanilla save game and access content or pick up where I left off when buying the expanded edition versions? Persona
yes.
5 Royal's biggest change is an additional semester, which comes at the end of a 100-hour RPG. Dragon Quest XI included, or Dragon Quest XI's included improved orchestral score and a 2D mode. Why isn't there a way to reward investing players of the vanilla version? Another dumb shout out to Control for not allowing save game transfer between the PS4 and PS5 versions. If you want to play the DLC on your PS5, you need to have beaten the campaign first. Without a save transfer, this is another game that expects me to replay dozens of hours just to get back to where I started. Sort it out before you make another Go edition with this nonsense. So I agree in the sense if you bought the game and a new version came out, you should be able to buy the extra version, like the new content separately. Like,
Yeah.
I always come back to Dragon's Dogma. I played the shit out of that game on PS3. I beat that game like 5 times. Dark Arisen came out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to buy a whole new game. Like, why
totally.
couldn't I buy this separately?
Capcom selling you a whole new game instead of giving you the content separately?
This is nothing new. This is like, this
360
happens.
or,
Like Kingdom Hearts games in Japan had multiple versions also.
Yeah.
They always had the final
4.
Yeah, Street Fighter 4,
Sorted
the
out.
final mix versions. With Persona, there is like definitely changes throughout the game, but like the main highlight I guess is later on. But it would be sick if like even if you can't get your save game back because it's like a bunch of new content in there, at least allow the player to like upgrade cheaper or something like that.
Yeah.
If you have it, pay $20, $30, whatever.
I agree.
Ideally, if you can't do that. And yes, it does suck. I like having to restart all that stuff. I get that,
Totally.
but
Yep.
I don't understand I don't know what it's like as a game developer having a player go through all that new content and how that all lines up, especially if it's sprinkled throughout the game. Like there is new content, like new cutscenes very early on in Persona Royal.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but allow people to carry over in Control, I guess. Like, I guess like why
That's
not?
weird.
I guess why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Especially
don't
from
know.
Remedy, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a 505 thing because they published it or whatever. I'm not sure. Whatever. This is from Starving Artist. Sorted out. Difficult to achieve bronze trophies. Very nitpicky. But when I ran into this same thing as them.
Bronze trophies.
Very nitpicky. But when going for the FF7 Platinum, the original, getting the Barrett on the Gold Saucer date is worth a measly bronze. So you have to do you have to be very careful about this.
So you're talking about OG.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, because there's only like 10 trophies for that game total, right?
I don't know how many there is.
Sometimes those older games only have a few.
Considering how difficult and missable it is to get this trophy without a guide, surely is it worth more than that? I would say, you need a guide for this trophy pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that one should be silver or something.
Yeah, but aren't they like limited on like smaller games with fewer?
Yeah.
That it's not
Probably.
Yeah.
But I've seen some smaller games, Damiani, that have like 10 or so trophies, and they're all like silver and gold.
Okay.
So
Just some games can't have platinums though, right?
yeah, some games cannot.
However, having the option to speed up gameplay and avoid random encounters and use instant limit breaks was super convenient and sped up the process dramatically. This is exactly what happened to me. I had to go back and do it when grabbing the trophy in the second playthrough. So keep it up. That was their counter, keep it up. So having to skip forward, I guess that's pretty sick. But yeah, I wish that trophy was worth a little more, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And one more. From Panamuse, sort it out. I mean, what on God's green earth is most of the shit? Okay, I mean, what on God's green earth is most of this shit plastered over your digital storefront? At least half don't even look like games. Stroke the Hamster, the Jumping Burger Halloween edition.
The Jumping Taco.
Please sort it out and get this fake ass crap out of here.
Yes.
Yes.
Fuck yes. Sort that shit out. Now, 100%.
It sucks
I see all these damn trophy hunters out there just platinum trophies. They don't mean shit anymore. I'm sorry.
You know what, Hubert? What
dipping down.
I
dude.
recently learned from someone.
Yeah.
From one of our viewers, that Kyle Bossman played some of those shitty games
Disgusting.
and got platinums.
Disgusting.
They said he regretted it.
Okay.
But
he regrets it.
You fucked up, Kyle. It's not about
But Kyle probably wanted to just do a little research, which I respect.
No, he's just a weasel.
No.
He's just a
wanted
weasel.
to see one of those because I think he did a whole episode on all of that shovelware. So it was for research purposes, probably.
You know why he did the research? Because he wanted those platinums.
To those free platinums. Yeah, dude, that is such a good sorted out. Those games are just
they're garbage,
clogging
and it
up.
sucks because good games don't get that recognition when they should be there instead of those games.
Absolutely, dude. Like a good game will come out and it'll be one in like 20.
Yeah.
Now,
let me just say this. Yeah. It's not about the number of platinums you have. Yeah. Who gives a shit? It's about the platinums you have that matter, which really means something.
Yeah.
You got 30 platinums or 100 platinums and you got 10 jumping tacos. It's like, man, who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
You got this your Hannah Montana platinums. Who cares?
They added that weird PlayStation
stars
program.
Stars.
That's where this is gonna matter because they reward you.
Well, I want to maybe going forward, you'll have a way to show off specific games you've platinumed or something to really highlight.
Yeah, you get some rewards and stuff.
But have them you click into your profile and it's Bloodborne Platinum, Dark Souls Platinum, showcasing specific games.
They should have a category you're saying of cool platinums and garbage platinums.
Yeah, or a way to
a player card to show off your best ones.
Pin them to your profile or something.
There you go.
Yeah, something like that.
But Hubert, not a joke. I mean, people are going to start digging into shovelware to get the more platinums easily because they'll speed up their place in the customer service line.
That is crazy, dude. That is.
Yeah, and it's
more jumping tacos.
If they're spending money on PlayStation, Eric, that's what they care about. You know, that's what PSN cares about, or PlayStation cares about. They want your money.
Yeah, I actually got a challenge on that was buy a full price game. That seems kind of sketchy.
Well, here's the thing.
That it's just hey, level up your account by giving us money.
Here's the thing is you have to opt into that. I don't see any problem about having PlayStation Stars.
Got it.
You have to opt into that. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's like buying coin. It's like buying a game on Switch and getting coins. It's not, I'm not I'm going to buy this because I want coins. It's just kind of oh, okay, cool. I guess I got some coins for it. Yeah. I see no harm in this right now.
Okay. No harm.
No harm.
No harm.
Yet.
No foul.
No, correct. Yet.
Get those taco and burger sushi games out of my face. Do you think that whoever made that is rich now?
Probably.
I don't know.
No, they have to keep making so many.
Yeah, there's there's multiple versions. There was Jumping Taco and Jumping Taco EX version. And I think it was $3 versus $4. But I think they both have a platinum each.
Ugh.
It's just crazy.
Now, I have one more sorted out, but this is a very long write-in, so I'm not going to read it all. This is way too long. But basically, their whole point came down to they're playing Xenoblade 3. They're playing on hard. They're trying to make it hard as possible, but the game is still too damn easy for them, okay?
So this is me. I wrote this in.
Their last paragraph, okay, I'm just going to say is, I'm begging you, devs, just give me something. Give me some way of playing your game Learning all the systems mechanics, upgrading all my gear, exploring the world, doing the side quests, then still getting an exhilarating challenge out of the bosses when I get back to the story. So they were saying, everything just became, they were steamrolling everything when they were trying not to. They want to be rewarded and still have a challenge for mastering everything. Yep. This is from Binone, by the way. But I get that. It's a very hard thing, I guess, to balance. I haven't played Xenoblade 3, so I don't know.
I mean, it's one of the things I complained about in the review. And shout out to all the comments who said, Damiani, I played on normal when I specifically went and de-leveled to play 20 levels, or show that being 20 levels over-leveled, even on hard, you obliterate bosses and stuff. One of the shots in there is a replay of a boss 20 levels over-leveled on the hardest difficulty and melting it.
Yeah.
So the problem is the game has no way to kind of level sync you to keep you at level. They're complaining about being over leveled.
Yes.
Because if you undertake and do everything and you cash in your bonus experience at campsites, you level up like bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it is. And everyone's like, well, then don't spend your bonus experience. I'm like, then what's it good for? It's like, it needs to be used for something else then. Otherwise, no, this is like as Jones would say, you're grinding because you want to, you're not even grinding, you want to level up. That's the whole point of these types of JRPGs I want to feel overwhelmed. I did the work, give me the reward. So you're saying penalize yourself? So bosses should have either just had an option, before the fight begins, it's like a little pop-up that says, you're severely over leveled. Would you like to level down to this, or would you like the boss to scale up to you? Or they have a feature once you beat the game that in your current save file, or if you start a new game plus only, when you go back to campsites, you can also level down your characters at any level, and then it'll bank that bonus experience, so you could go right back up if you ever want to go back to your max level. Sure. So they didn't even do. They had a solution. They didn't even let you use it till it was way too late. So that's one thing. That's one of the basic issues. So I completely agree with their point that Monolith Soft kind of missed the mark really badly with difficulty in that game, and the difficulty settings for me would not have addressed that.
Maybe just another difficulty, like you said, that incorporates level scaling more.
Yeah.
On this difficulty, you're always going to be underleveled when you fight a boss, no matter what.
Yeah. A lot of the pushback in the comments I saw was people who did play at level on hard. Especially on boss fights, it pushed you to really cycle through your characters and actually use arts correct. I wouldn't say correctly, but using them in a more strategic fashion, I guess, as they were intended to, so it feels like a little bit more of a challenging battle. But again, for a lot of people who will probably go out of their way to do a lot of extra stuff in that game, the design kind of clashes with that notion of difficulty, and they never really found a way to really get it back to being that way until either it's too late. Yeah.
Crazy. All right, now
was that difficulty?
Yes.
Oh crap!
I think,
but it's for a very specific game, Xenoblade 3, which you have no idea.
Well, I've been thinking. I always go back to Dragon Quest XI because the heroic draconic modifier put that game over the edge for me. Just how much I love it, because every fight was a fight to the death. So I just want to say that I feel like harder difficulties, or wanting a harder difficulty, is equally as valid as wanting an easy difficulty.
Sure.
Both sides.
Yeah.
Well, the thing was that
because people want to get through a game quick with story, and they don't want to be challenged. And then on the other side, people want to be challenged to make loot and fights. A little more
in
meaningful.
this case, it was about they were playing on hard, and Damiani also played on hard, and it still wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
All right.
Sort that out.
Now the complete opposite. Keep it up. This is from Tim O'Keefe. Keep it up. Shout out to the developers providing some more visual/performance options in their games, in particular Sony first-party games. God of War Ragnarok will have 4 modes allowing 30, 40, 60, and 120 FPS. Even in cases where the games can't quite hit their target FPS, hardware revisions and new generations will end without the need for developer to patch the game. So just having that right away, we don't have to patch it later on down the line. Cool. I love it. More performance options are great to me.
Yeah.
Do you think Nintendo will ever do this?
No.
That sounds like that face looks like a no from Damiani.
Probably not.
Nintendo does only what they need to do.
Yeah, my jaw will drop. It's the moment there's like an option in a game at the beginning of a Nintendo first-party game where it says, would you like performance or fidelity? I'm like, what? This exists?
Yeah.
Switch feels a decade old.
I mean,
now.
it's
how old is
it's
it?
old. It came out in
It will
2017.
be 6 years old in March of next
there.
year.
It's getting a decade, dude. Crazy.
And it's hybrid hardware, so
Still crushing it.
This is from Matthew Waco. Keep it up. Chapter selects in games that also have that have fractions for collectibles. While this is nothing new, I just started Plague Tale Requiem last
Just gonna
week.
say that. There it is. The
And
best chapter select of all time.
It's a reminder of how important chapter selects are.
I should have called it out in the review. I did.
Especially in the chapter/mission based games. Chapter selects also provide a nice starting / stopping point
Yep.
where you can treat the game like a TV show.
Totally.
Do a mission / chapter every other night, or save a few for the weekend. So if you're a narrative-driven action-adventure game with chapter selects, keep it up.
Keep it up, and it made capture a dream.
Shout out
Needed
to-
a couple pickups, and it was like, oh, boom.
Yep.
that's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to that. FF7 Remake did this too.
Yep.
So nice for going
did.
back and getting other trophies.
Yeah, because you have to replay stuff.
Yeah, like thank you for not making me replay the whole game.
Okay.
And it's got good music.
It's got good music.
Got music.
We're going to have a different segment today. Just an extra one. A lot of frame rate talk going on here.
Yeah.
Lots of that going on. So we're doing, this segment's called Frame Rate Fiesta.
Yeah.
Got a lot of this going on. We got a lot of questions about frame rate and all this
Okay.
whole thing. So I just thought I'd bundle it together in this little segment.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Chris Park.
Hey, Chris.
With the blowback from the
I
news
love
that
word.
Gotham Knights
I
was,
love it.
It was a blowback. Was stuck at 30 FPS on current gen. It is time for a bigger discussion on graphic fidelity being too important for devs. When a game like Genshin Impact can run open world at 60 to 120 FPS on a mobile phone and make billions, it is time to discuss that a large population is absolutely willing to take less graphics
Look at
for
Switch.
better game feel. Thanks, guys. Yes, Chris, a lot of people do agree with that. A lot of people I think would rather have frame rate nowadays than fidelity. Blowback. And this is from RJ. Question related to Gotham Knights and Plague Tale Requiem and this whole frame rate debate.
Yeah.
Is 30 FPS bad for current gen consoles when it comes to marketing? I think a lot of people will buy the new consoles for the performance upgrades. PS4 and Xbox One X can't even manage to achieve 60 FPS consistently. Do you think that it defeats the purpose of the upgrade? I hope it only applies to cross-gen titles, and at least they give people option how to play their games. And thank you as always, always love and respect. Keep it up. So every generation, it seems like frame rate has become more important to people. Mm-hmm. Like, dude, you remember the PS3 era and the Xbox 360? Like, you're praying for 30 FPS on a lot of those games, dude.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I feel like
Games just ran worse a lot of times back in the day.
we got into
PS3, dude. Thing is rough.
I do think this generation we've gotten to a point where 1080 60 on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, I think it's egregious when you don't hit 60 frames on any game on those platforms. I don't care whether they're open world or not.
Yeah.
Because you're only running at 1080.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of them are higher than
some
1080
games have
too.
some games do have higher. They had 1440 was just added
2K
and 4K.
maybe.
Yeah.
So with that, I could 1440 or even 4K at 30 is fine. And especially 4K, more flexible with that.
Yeah.
I understand that. But if your game can't even do 1080 60 on those two things, I just shake my head. I don't understand. In 2022, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Like you're prioritizing wrong things, and that's inexcusable. So I hate to say it, everything is about Gotham Knights. So if that needs to be running 1080 60.
Yeah.
If they can't run 1080 60, then
and it's 60 on PC, Damiani.
Yeah,
of course.
So it's like
it's trying to be 60 on PC.
It probably depends on your system and PC's.
But also, some of those past games also had some tech issues with their ports as well. So I don't
Batman
know.
definitely did.
I think there might be something else going on over there that besides it's not like they don't know how. It's something else might be holding them back. Yeah. But for most especially first party efforts, it's just inexcusable.
Yeah, I agree.
And it does. It gets more of a pass on, as you said, like on Switch, because it is like older hardware, hybrid hardware, wasn't cutting edge.
Yeah.
It is like a little bit more acceptable, but general, a lot of their games do hit at least like 30 frames.
Yeah.
So I think the priority is always going to be, you need to be hitting 60. If you're not hitting like stable 30, you need to get out of here. Like, just like your game should not be coming out, period, if you can't hit stable lock 30.
Yeah,
now,
and then, like, if you're not hitting 1080 60 on the newer systems, then you might want to consider, like, what's it going to take to get there, because you really need to be hitting that. Because I think, as you said, like, phones, more people exposed to mobile games, how huge mobile games is, and that they can do 60 or better. Like, it's so many more and more people coming in are going to be normalized with 60 that when you see 30, you're like, what is this? This looks weird. This looks like old-fashioned.
That's funny you say that.
They say old-fashioned.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, because this is not a slight, but the only human I know who's okay with 30 is Bloodworth. Because of, like, what we've grown up with, we can tolerate it because we've been trained to tolerate it our whole lives. But, like, moving forward, people who have only really played, like, last gen and this gen, like, 30 looks and feels
which is
weird.
like interesting, because I know Bloodworth plays like some on PC sometimes. And he has a pretty nice PC from what I recall.
But, like, every time I talk to him about it, it like doesn't really bother him. 30 frames. So
he's a Nintendo fan. And when you get 60 frames on a Nintendo game, like, there are 60 frames games.
Okay. So I just gotta say, if that's what you think it is, you need to show. I mean, they get defensive about this, some Nintendo fans, but you show them emulator. Like, you show them Wii U and Switch emulators running those same games at 60 frames at higher resolutions, and you get to see what those games could be if there was a little bit more, like, power under the hood in that system. And I think they're lying at that point. They say they still, like, I'm okay with 30. It's like, no, come on. Like, no, you're not. Like, look at Breath of the Wild running at 60 frames. This looks amazing.
Yeah, of course.
Like, I would absolutely prefer having this.
And
like,
it's like,
is Tears of the Kingdom gonna be?
No,
it's gonna be
not a
dude.
chance.
It's gonna be
not a chance in the world.
Dude, you're gonna hope that game's stable 30. You're gonna hope. You're gonna hope. Yeah, Hubert, 0% chance. Now, I don't think, like,
still Zelda, but
in a game,
damn it.
I think you could still phone 30 frames. Of course, you can still play a game, have a good time.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like always undeniable that I'd rather play this at 60. No question.
Yeah.
No question. I'd always take frame rate over fidelity.
Yeah. Like at like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe still looks good.
Yep.
And run it. Because I mean, it's not as big scale environments, but I'd rather take that when I can get that, because it looks so dang good running that smoothly.
Especially like a racing game, crazy motion and all that stuff. Like, super important.
Absolutely. Like, they're just genres of games that absolutely need to have that.
And in terms of Nintendo, like, I don't expect them to be 60 because they're a hybrid system and they're much older, and it's just Nintendo, so I don't expect it.
Yeah.
But I do love it when they, like, Mario Odyssey is awesome in 60 frames. It's great.
Yeah.
Mario Kart's also awesome. And when they did F-Zero back in the day,
Yeah.
Bloodworth's 10.
Bloodworth's 10.
I'm definitely have some expectations for their next hardware to,
I'd
like,
hope
at least target like 1080 60.
Yeah, me too.
On first party stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or get as close to it. Like,
The Pro will have it.
The pros
they're
are
not
going
going to be a pro. This is going to be a
I
successor
didn't
at
think
this
that.
point.
I wish.
But
Favorite meme.
I think there's even going to be a point where you're going to expect that from, like, Nintendo too.
Yeah.
Just right now, it's, a little
They're still behind,
outlandish.
tech-wise. Yeah. The whole frame rate thing has been very interesting to see kind of unfold.
Switch needs an expansion pack, dude. Let me just bolt on an expansion pack.
Got the dock.
Like a super powered up dock.
Yeah. I don't know. I just get very sus of people who say, like 30 is fine, and then you throw 60 in their face, and they're like, 30 is still fine. I'm like,
yeah. I used to say 30 was fine until I
exposed to it more.
Until I saw Last of Us Remastered.
There you go.
That was my because it's so quick and easy to see the difference. Just the toggle. Mm-hmm. You go to 60 or 30 just with a quick toggle. So it's like you can do that shit
really good
so quick and see it in motion and action. And it's
Here you go.
It's night and day. And Guardians of the Galaxy.
Pilotwing 64 running at 60 frames on the Nintendo Switch Online emulator.
It looks much better.
Does, like come on. Like, would absolutely love that. Oh, it ruins like kind of like the feel of the OG, like playing it on N64. I'm like, I would have rather had this than I would.
GoldenEye will be
you can erase
trip.
those memories and just give me the 60 frames.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you want the old, at least have the option, I guess, old style, new style.
Old frame rate.
Like I've seen some of those Ocarina of Time running at 60 frames things before, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Stuff like that. It's a whole thing. But we'll see how this changes, and I do think it'll be more of a standard as gaming goes on now.
You know what's going to be a huge one is Starfield. Will that be 60 frames?
Oh,
Will Starfield,
great question.
That
now, so
is a big one.
I'm going to hope
big
so.
Question.
Ideally, I would say it should be 60 frames on Series X.
Yeah.
But then you got Series S, and if it's 30 on that, I think that's fine. Because the Series S is just a less powerful console.
Yeah.
I think ideally you should want 60 frames.
It'll be interesting.
I'd hope so. We don't know. It's Bethesda. They're not known for their tech. I just pray to God the game works fine when it comes out. Because woof, Todd.
I feel like that'll set the precedent, of if that's 60 or not. Like if that game's 60 frames.
Yeah, and it's like curious to think about whatever PlayStation has next coming. Spider-Man 2. Is that
that'll be 60.
Yeah,
that'll be 120.
So Insomniac has been very good at that kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, the best.
But I wonder, big question, Damiani, and I don't think it's going to be 60. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not. It's Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, I 100% think that's going to be 60 frames.
You think so?
100%.
Combat, baby.
Absolutely.
We haven't seen it in 60 frames at all.
I mean...
And I think Square Enix usually have a history of doing fidelity over frame rate.
Because 7 Remake was 30 originally, but then intermission.
Yeah, but that's PS4.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 60
I hope it is.
frames.
That'd be badass. I'm just expecting it not
I think
to
they're showing it 30 because it like lock 30, it looks smooth.
the
They
trailer?
probably
Sure.
aren't hitting 60 locked
the
right
game's
now.
got a
They're
ways to go
stable.
still.
So they are opting to show it in the best light they can right
Okay.
now. That's what I
like-
choose to believe.
I like where your head's at, Dom.
Yeah,
You know what?
choose
I
to
liked
believe.
it so much, I'm going to now join you on that side.
Yeah.
Believing it.
There
But
we go.
if it is 30, I will be like,
I don't
all right.
understand how that
I
combat
knew
can
it.
be 30 frames. What they're
I-
going for,
that's
it
what
has
I think
to be
too,
60.
but
Yeah.
we haven't seen Square been like, yo, this game is for current gen only kind of thing yet. We haven't gotten to that point yet. 7 Remake was like the closest we got to that of like the intermission version.
I feel like because the engine they're working with, they're so
Unreal?
intimate. No, for 16.
Wait, what's the 16?
16 is using the modified 14 engine.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
The hybrid crystal tool / whatever
Okay.
engine that was created for that.
Aren't they having problems with that engine already though on 14? Maybe I know it's a different type
Oh
of
no!
game.
They're doing graphical overhauls in that game
Yeah, I
too.
know.
They know it very well. They're really pushing it. I
Okay.
mean, I think 16 is how 14 would look. Like you remember you're saying like the argument about like co-op like is holding back a game, but you're talking about gameplay, but like just from fidelity standpoint, like 14 is literally an MMO. So like that's kind of a legit argument with having all the people on there. But like 16 is how good 14 could look if it was like a single player game. It's like that's that engine when it's not having to accommodate for like 100. Yeah,
That's interesting. That's
so
really cool.
yeah, like I think that's what it is, and they know it so well. I think they're gonna get it cranking out 60.
Sure. Yeah, because it's so weird. Square's like they're using that engine. They're using Luminous for Forspoken, and they're using
everything
Unreal.
else is using. I think everything outside of Creative Business Unit 3 will be using Unreal, and Luminous will keep using their own thing because it's what they spent time on.
They know,
and that's how it will always be. And I think at some point, Creative Business Unit 3 will probably move on from
Their engine?
from the internal engines. I think if they ever make a successor MMO, they will want to make it like Yoshimi even said he would love to make a ground up
with a different
something
engine.
else.
Yeah.
I think whatever they go with next will be not on that engine anymore. I think that engine's kind of reaching its limit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we got time for some shout outs now. So every episode we give some shout outs to some of our most generous patrons in the shout out tier. This month we got Jabbawabs, Elthanas, Greg TheDarkKnight Kettering, and Anacrothe. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Shout out.
You know what? Keep it up. Yeah, keep it up. Give me a Sojiro shout out, Huber. Bro, got to his shop. in it, and he was just like making coffee. I was like, "Woo, this is cozy."
Shout out.
Yeah. Love Sojiro.
Yeah, keep it chill. Keep it chill, Sojiro.
Is he your favorite character in that game?
Hell yeah.
Oh,
He's great. I love him.
Is he my
And
favorite? Yeah.
I think his name's Dojima from 4. Was that his name?
Yep.
The detective?
Yep. Always love the old vets.
Yeah.
And Ryuji, of course.
Yeah, Ryuji.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. Dude, speaking of Final Fantasy, Damiani, you've been playing Final Fantasy 14 again, as always.
oh, yeah, trying.
But
to.
there has been a new patch with some new content that I think is pretty interesting that I've been curious about. This what is the dungeon called?
Okay, so make sure I get
just go
this
explain
right because like it was a lot. So they introduced a new type of dungeon in the most recent patch. There's 2 types, and the one we're gonna be talking about are called variant dungeons. Now they call it variant because
Multiverse.
sort of, and not in there's multiple.
Wait, actually, sort of. Oh my god.
There's multiple paths and multiple story conclusions you can reach by going through them. So it's a little bit like a choose your own adventure, but there's also a little bit of puzzle solving to figuring out how you unlock these alternate pathways.
Oh.
So there's 12 resolutions you can get in this dungeon. And they're 4-person content, though you could play them
Solo, right?
Solo with 2 people, with 3 people. It scales, completely doable.
So you and me could do it together.
Yeah, 2 of us could just do it and have a blast and no problem
wanna do
whatsoever.
that.
Yeah,
I wanna
So
tank
you
it.
can, yeah, like it's meant to be very flexible.
Okay.
And honestly, before we get into details, like the kind of like my final thoughts on it, I really like the variant dungeon.
Okay.
As a concept. It's almost making me feel like I can't ever do normal dungeons again.
Okay.
Normal dungeons can feel so antiquated and outdated
Sure.
now that I almost wish they could do this
Like a more random
for
element?
every main story dungeon. It would be nice to have this and have possibly like multiple outcomes, but I understand how that'd be difficult because the main story you have to have a canonical ending.
Yes.
But they sometimes add dungeons that are part of like side quest storylines that aren't part of the main story. Those would be great opportunities. But honestly,
Experiment more? Okay.
best case scenario, we'll get these every so often, and I really like these.
So I have a question. Most dungeons that I recall are like 3 bosses usually.
Yep.
Is this kind of the same, like 3?
So structurally, it's sort of the same where you have like a trash boss, trash boss. There's only 2 bosses though.
Oh.
It's not trash boss, and trash final boss.
Okay.
It's a little bit different because there are so many paths. Now there are 3 different types of bosses. There's one bonus hidden boss that you can get if you fulfill certain conditions.
Cool.
And then there are 2 bosses you're mostly going to encounter. I think there's 4 bosses. I'm sorry. But you can only encounter 2. There's like this hamster-looking one called like a Silky or whatever with this like ball. There's like a Iron Giant like type dude with like dual blades. There's I think there's 4. There might be 5. I forget. Sorry for being wrong, whatever it is. But you can only encounter 2 on each
per
playthrough.
run, right.
But what's really cool is depending on your choices, such as simple flipping a switch left or right, and what it triggers in the dungeon, it will influence the mechanics of the boss. So you will come across a same looking boss, but it does slightly different mechanics.
Okay.
Which is kind of a cool thing
That's
as
cool.
well.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I really like everything they're doing about this. There are clues in the dungeon that kind of, let you in on maybe if you do this, something else will happen next time. For example, one step of the incredibly not long, but kind of like complicated step of instructions to get to the hidden boss. This is the only way to get to this type of this boss is there's a group of trash mobs. And each one is different size. You have to kill them in a certain order based on their size. Cool. And then there's another part where you have to do a set of instructions with your character. And it can be something as simple as like, don't approach this too fast. Go like backtrack and go to something else that before, if you go, because you go too far, point of no return, you missed it. It won't even appear to you. So very like cryptic stuff, but if you pay attention to the narrative, you're escorting an NPC through this dungeon, which is really cool. Like the storyline. So it's Nanamo, leader of Ulda, the little Lalafell.
Yeah. You know who that is, Mike.
So
The little one.
Yeah.
So this
Ooh, I like
dungeon takes place, without getting too spoilery, at the very end of A Realm Reborn's patches leading into Heaven's Ward. There's a sequence where you have to escape.
Oh, right.
Underground.
Oh, it's down there?
And underground there,
that's cool.
In those ruins, someone found a hidden pathway while excavating it, and now you're going to a lost kingdom down there.
Ooh.
And Nanamo wants to, like, her parents left her, like, you know, she's like trying to like learn more about her parents and going down there. And each pathway you choose, you get more information about what was going on down there, more about her mom and dad. So a little bit like the family bonds there. And she has some like banter between you as you move along. Sometimes, like when you're fighting a boss, she will say something that's like, I observed this. This might be helpful to you. So she won't outright tell you mechanics,
right? But
she might point something out you might have missed if you're like kind of too chaotic for you. You can't really focus sometimes. So the dialogue bubble comes up and it's really nice. It's a nice like character portfolio with the text bubble there. Not voice though.
Yeah,
that would be like nice, but they don't do that. And the other big thing is you bring in, you can select from up to 2 of various special actions you can bring into the dungeon. So you have your normal toolkit.
Oh, okay.
And then, for example, so because you're going solo, let's say you're going as a non-tank.
You might want to heal or something.
They give you, so DPS can get like a heal. Tanks and DPS can get a heal ability. DPS and healers can get like a defensive cooldown ability.
Okay. Like a rampart kind of thing?
It's actually a rampart. It's literally like a Lost Rampart or whatever it's called, but it's literally a 60-second rampart, which is really nice. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit like of a variety to that as well.
Question. So if you go into this solo, do you have NPCs with you, or is
you just have that one? No, you don't have like trust or anything like that. But Nanamo is just with you, but she doesn't fight.
So it'll be just you fighting these guys by yourself.
Exactly, you're by yourself,
cool.
and she hangs back. She doesn't like she's never in danger or anything like that. You know, definitely the 3 paths. There's basically 3 at the beginning. You choose one of 3 paths, and so it's basically 3 wings of the dungeon, and each of just on their own, they feel pretty distinct and unique. Like one's kind of like sewery, overrun by like fungus. One is more of like like in like mines or something like that. That's a good way to put it. And another one's like a little bit more above ground, like traditional like ruins looking. And yeah, the bosses are pretty cool. Like the mechanics are kind of fun.
Well, tell me like what are some of the different mechanics they would do?
So like one of the basic ones. So like so the hamster one, keep calling it everyone.
Hamtaro.
This seems it's getting popular because we won't really get into it, but there's harder versions of this dungeon, and the hardest version of it apparently is like people are like saying like look how cute it is, one of the hardest fights in the game or something.
Yeah,
blah blah blah. Anyway, so they have an ability where their tail, like a little puffy tail, will glow a certain color. So like one of them's like in the easy version, one's like ice and one's like a wind AoE. But later on, it summons like more things, and depending on which way like they do their attacks, it can hit other ones and then imbue them with that element as well. And so mechanics will become like based on that, like ice pattern or like wind pattern. Another one has like explosive barrels that one like does like a big AoE. One's like you got to get close to it. It does it's kind of like a donut shaped. And it starts mixing and matching those, and starts knocking them around, so you get like know where you're gonna end up. Another one does kind of this weird. It's a mechanic we've seen before, where you get you could get where it's 2 circles tethered, and they're gonna switch spots.
Okay,
but it's not you. It's like flames. So a bunch of flames appear, and they're all tethered to other circles. They're all going to teleport to another spot. So you got to figure out where they're gonna end up, and then figure out the safe spots based on that. Okay. So it's not necessarily a lot of new stuff. There is some new stuff, especially on the harder difficulties. When I've like watched, they definitely throw a lot of more things at you.
Cool.
Yeah.
What are the rewards like for doing this?
So I think the story
the story version,
so variant, aka story version, has some pretty good rewards.
Like what? Just so like good gear.
One, there's random drops that you can get that include minions. So you can get like that hamster as a minion. They got some outfit related things you can get as well, like new parasols you could like get for
Glamour's the end game, so
and then the best, someone summoned Dawn, but Huber's here and Brad's here. This is a great thing. There's a freaking like noir spy like detective outfit.
Whoa.
That you can get that is the currency. So you earn these potsherds. One for the first boss, 2 for the second boss. You get 3 a run. And you trade them in. Like the jacket part of it costs like 27.
Okay.
So you're gonna do a bunch of runs.
Yeah, you're gonna do a bunch of runs.
But you get like the full. You get like the fedora. You got like the glasses. You got like the trench
this event
coat.
Gonna go away or
no, this is permanent content.
Cool.
You got like the trousers and like nice shoes, and you can dye it, dude. Like everyone's getting that going around. Cool. It's like sick as shit. And the harder versions, you earn silver. And you can trade that. Oh, there's also an emote you can get from normal as well, which is a very cool emote that people like. But then there's silver for like the next. There's 2 harder versions. They both reward silver. You can trade that in for like a mount, like this chair mount. But otherwise, yeah. If you do all 12 of the different paths on the story one, you get that hamster as a mount as well.
That's cool.
That's silky, cool. Which is pretty cool.
Now, something I've seen people kind of want out of 14 is what WoW has is Mythic Dungeons. Mm-hmm. Do you think this is kind of their answer to that? The route they will go with that?
So the harder versions looks like probably yes. To be fair, I have not done either of the harder versions.
Okay.
But I'll explain what they are because I've watched them and I know what they are. And I'll also explain maybe one of the problems with the structure. So the variant one, I said it has like various paths. Then there's something called Criterion, which is there's Criterion and Criterion Savage, essentially. Okay. And what Criterion is, it's that same dungeon, but it picked a fixed layout. So it's only going to be one path. So they pick one set of ads, trash ads, a boss, another set of trash ads, and then a boss. And that's the structure, and there's no variance to it. Okay. It's fixed. Now, the bosses are more difficult. So it's the
more mechanics, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. It might be 3 bosses, actually. I might be forgetting at the moment. But it is, I think it's 3 bosses. They're definitely harder. Okay. So in the Criterion, the standard Criterion version, your progress is saved in terms of, like, if you wipe at a boss, you can go back and try that boss. Like, everything you've cleared up to then is still cleared. Mm-hmm. But raises, you can't, like, a healer can't just raise you in the middle of a fight if you die.
Oh.
You only get raised, I believe, at, like, checkpoints or when you clear a boss or something, or everyone has to wipe and go back.
Restrictions.
So, yeah. So it's a little bit more challenging that way. And then, I would say the mechanic difficulty is probably around like extreme primal fight in terms of like the boss mechanics, maybe a little it's in between. I would say in between Savage and EX in terms of mechanical difficulty. Now the hardest variation, the Savage version, there is no way to raise, and progress is not saved. So you lose a party member, they're down for good.
Oh,
and whenever you wipe, you go back to the start, must start all over again.
That's hardcore.
On top of all that, there is a hardened rage on the dungeon. You have a time limit. If you don't beat within a time limit, the dungeon will hit and rate, you will wipe.
You'll die. Yeah.
So you have like roughly 25, just under 25 minutes, it's 24 and change, I believe, to beat the dungeon. Now, ads, to put into perspective, like trash mobs are like LOL in Final Fantasy XIV dungeons.
Right.
And even in the Criterion normal, like they're not that big of a deal.
Yeah, you can't pull like the whole pack maybe.
Yeah.
Or like
this one, it's like
pull one pack at a
there
time.
are no telegraphs, and like tanks not using cooldowns will get obliterated by like autos.
Okay.
So it's real deal.
Cool.
That you like even like trash mobs need to be treated kind of like a dungeon boss. Like you gotta like probably harder than that. And then but the disappointment here is, from what I've seen of people have completed and people have been playing this while I haven't had time to really dive into this, or maybe even the motivation might be the other part, is that mechanically, there's not much different between Criterion and Criterion Savage.
Okay.
It's just the restrictions imposed upon you mean you got to one-shot it. And that's where the challenge comes from. They already have content like that in the game. Like Ultimate is roughly the most recent one, the one that I've done, is like a 21-minute fight, 19 minutes uninterrupted. There's like a beginning part, then a checkpoint, which is just for goofy
Gotham
purposes.
Knights, fight there.
Yeah, and like you wipe, you're all going back. But then there's even like the Eureka content, and the Bozia content where you have those dungeons where you have
I've seen
something
those,
called Baldessian Arsenal, which is like a 40, how many person raid, where there's raise restrictions. And same thing with there's a thing called the Librum Reginae Savage, which I've also done, which, again, it's not that the mechanics are hard, it's that when people die, like,
heavy cost.
There's no guarantee to raise them, and you start losing people. It's like it's over.
Yeah.
And in the middle of a big fight, if people go down, you're done. Like, you're screwed. Like, you don't have enough people to do the mechanics. So that's where the challenge comes with. They already had this stuff. This is just like more of like a little bit more like that, but probably a little bit more challenging than that. So that sounds great. Here are just my
Quick
personal
qualms,
complaints. The rewards for completing Savage aren't worth it.
Sure.
Because you
can
not
just
only
buy
can
it
because the
levels.
silver comes from the other version of the dungeon
So you
as well.
don't need to do it.
So you can get almost everything that seems cool from doing the other one and not doing the hardest one. The only thing you get from the hardest one is a title,
That's cool.
which is bragging rights thing, but it's a shitty title.
What's the
in my
title?
opinion. It's a Scourge of Sildi, which is the name of the dungeon.
Okay.
And you get like a.
It's not like the Necromancer title.
No, it's
which
not
was
a cool title. It's not a cool title. And then those adventure plates they introduced a while ago.
Yeah.
You get like a custom frame from that.
Okay, it's something, but
But like you don't get a mount, you don't get gear. So here's the real thing. Sorry, Huber. Rating, gearing up.
Of course.
So this is hard content. And right now we're still in the middle of a current raid tier. This dropped in the middle of it. Like this dropped about like 2 months into 4. No, they've never done this before. So halfway through a current raid tier, they dropped this content. People were hoping it would reward raid gear because it would help. Because one of the chief complaints right now in 14 is how fast getting raid caliber gear for alternate jobs is. And it's already, people argue that they've tried speeding it up a little bit, but people argue it's still too slow. And this looked like a great option. And it's not even doing that. It's not even. It's like it's superficial awards, and it's not even like a lot of the even the mount is not exclusive to it. People would even settle for just like upgrade mats. So some gear you need, like it's not the gear itself, but it's like the upgrade. Like there's a whole bunch of solutions, but that's one of the biggest problems.
Just a little bit of step
so
towards gear.
The reward, whether you sit on the fence of like it's not giving you cool enough rewards or worthwhile enough rewards that like are practical for raiders, both sides are kind of complaining about the reward system right there. That's one reason. The other thing is I think it's a mistake about the timing. I think
being released, you mean?
So the variant dungeon is perfect.
Okay.
I think it can come out at any point, and that's a great piece of content. But I think this is actually a case of too much hard content too soon.
Okay.
We just got off an ultimate
tier.
in 6.1s are 6.1 is ultimate, 6.2 are in Savage. We're in the middle of it. For me, I don't feel inclined to want to do this because I'm overwhelmed at this point.
Okay.
I think there's like people keep talking about like there's not enough content. I think we got too much at this point.
Sure.
And these 3 different difficulties, I'm happy for people who like this, but for someone like me who actually likes raiding, I don't like. It's a lot of it is the reward, but part of me is like I'm still like don't even have my raid weapon yet.
Right.
We cleared the fight, like the hardest fight in the current raid, but you have to wait your turn to get a weapon.
This sounds like content for me. As someone who doesn't do like raiding like you, it's kind of like I just play every now and then, and it's just something cool I can work towards.
For the story, like you're talking about the story one. Oh yeah, the story one.
But for the hardest content, I probably won't do that.
So the hardest one, it doesn't seem very easy to do like with randoms. It does feel like you need to get like a group of people together. So it's not really checking that box. I feel like of being like a random pug content. The one below it, I think, is actually perfect.
Okay.
I think that like they should have just done like done that if it was that and the story one, and maybe at a later date do like the harder one. Okay. Maybe. Or just they need to maybe change more up between the Criterion and the Savage version. Yeah. Again, having not gone through it myself, I can't really speak to that experience of it. Obviously, like the Savage version does look pretty challenging. But again, like I usually like tackling the hard content. I'm just
too busy.
It's like not now. I don't want to do this right now. Okay. Yeah. So that's something to do.
Sure.
But again, I was here to talk mostly about the story version. Really good. Really like that. Hope we get more of that.
It sounds cool.
Yeah.
I like stuff like that. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Hope they'll do more. All right. Our last game, Mike, you reviewed this, A Plague Tale Requiem. Talk to us about it.
Oh, yeah.
Plague Tale. Love this little series, Plague Tale. Plague Tale 2. I really, really like it. It's a pretty safe sequel.
Oh.
It definitely feels like the first game quite a bit. It's definitely an improvement where it matters, though. Visually, it looks incredible. It's only 30 frames. Look out. But it's a slower paced game. So 30 frames always bothers me, but it didn't really bother me too much for this game. Again, because it is slow paced and it looks really freaking good. And it's AA budget. You know, I'll hold the fire to big budget WB all day, every day for 30 frames. But for smaller games that are going for a very distinct vibe, you know, budgetary constraints.
Sure.
So be it. Whatever.
Okay.
It picks up a few months, about 6 months after the first game.
Oh, that's sooner than I thought.
We won't go into too many plot details. We won't really go into those at all, actually.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Story is such a big part of these games. And the scope, I should say, of this sequel is much bigger than the first one. Just a very grand scale. A lot more characters, a lot more lore about kind of the world. It really builds out the universe of A Plague Tale.
Okay.
There were some times, though, that it did feel like A Plague Tale 1.5. Like, I will say that. But overall, it is such an improvement over the first one where it matters. Another area where it matters is encounters.
Yes, this is the thing I think that needs to be changed the most or addressed.
The first game for me was autopilot.
Yeah.
Very weird to say that, but it was. You would come up to an encounter and
it felt like it was laid out for you. Almost.
It is laid out for you, which is like, on one side, it's kind of nice because you're just like, okay, I don't really gotta think about this. It's, you know, I'm not getting confused or worrying at all. Like, okay, this does this, you know, it's all just like dominoes in the first game. This one, you have a little more leeway into getting through each encounter because you have more tools, barely. You do have a little bit more options.
Yeah, a little more.
But the spaces are bigger.
Cool.
So there's more ways to go. And because there are more ways to go, then each of those ways has different ways to use your tools. It's not hugely advanced or complex, but compared to the original,
just small improvements.
It is an improvement.
Okay.
Straight up. And yeah, it's just paced well. There are sometimes like the overall plot didn't really do it for me too much. It does get kind of bogged down in the details of like the main narrative, but through all that, cutting through all that, the characters shine, you know?
Yeah.
To me, the character-driven stuff outweighs the plot-driven stuff. And it never loses sight of that, like Amicia and Hugo, front and center.
Right.
But yeah, some of the main narrative stuff is a little predictable. And it just drags a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Like, for the main narrative,
yeah.
I wasn't, like, super into it, but I cared about the characters so much that, like, they were the focus. The main plot, to me, was secondary. Okay. So just kind of adjusting myself, adjusting my expectations and what's going on. So it was fine.
Tell me some of, like, the new gameplay stuff, like, maybe some of her new tools or abilities, if they're not spoilers.
Yeah, so you get tar this time.
Okay.
That'll make the flames bigger, so you can use that and it'll blind an enemy. Okay. Or you can throw it on the ground and then light it and it'll be like a big flame on the ground. So getting that is really nice. Later on, you get a crossbow.
Okay.
Straight up
That's cool.
Crossbow, dude. Taking people out in like a one shot with this thing. Because you still have the sling.
Yes.
Is your main weapon, and you have unlimited rocks, but the only way to kill someone with the rock
It's the head, right?
is the head unshielded.
Yeah, they can't have a helmet on or whatever.
Correct.
Yeah.
But the crossbow,
Goes through that.
just shoot them.
Okay.
They're dead.
So is there, if this answer requires any kind of spoilers, to say, yeah, like pass. But because like Blood kept pointing this out every time he was seeing more about the Plague Tale 2, was this like the character like choosing violence, killing more often.
Yeah.
So is that like, is there?
It
like,
actually matters this time, Damiani. Great question.
In terms of gameplay, like, is there consequences for like, taking that route versus more of like a pacifist route? Okay.
Slightly, yes.
Okay.
On two fronts. I love when things are multi-layered. You have the RP side of things, Damiani. If you really want to get into it, you're with a character, and they're like, yo, they didn't do us any harm. Like, we should sneak by,
Yeah.
If you kill, they'll say something like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
Or if you get through it stealth, they'll be like, yo, good job back there. Like, laying low.
Yeah.
So awesome.
That's cool.
You have the narrative. Again, it's just a little conversation.
Just a little minor thing, but
a cutscene
it's
is
something.
there's not going to be any different cutscenes.
Right.
There's some different endings. No, just a little bit of banter is different.
Nice.
But then also the way your skills are handled now. There's three slots of tiers. There's no XP.
Okay.
But there is a meter that goes up. And there's aggression and like stealth and opportunistic. Depending on how you get through encounters, that meter will fill up.
Okay.
So
that's
if you're
cool.
killing a bunch of people, your aggression goes up and you'll get more aggressive skills, like you can reload faster. Or if you're sneaking by, like I did, I love stealth, you get skills that are like, yo, you can sneak faster.
Yeah.
Yo, you're quieter.
Sick.
Okay.
So it has gameplay
I like that.
impact, which I really liked, yeah. You are, again, going to different environments, which I loved compared to the first one. You are meeting new people. You are partied with a lot of different people this time around, Brad. So your supporting person that you're with will have different abilities.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, just a little something.
Yeah.
Okay.
This person can distract people with something. This person can, like, throw something. Little things like that. And then, of course,
the rats.
the rats.
How are they?
The rats are back. The rats are the star of this franchise.
Yes, they are.
Straight up.
They are.
They are so unique. They are so distinct. Really nothing like them visually in games. I mean, when these things show up, it is always a big deal, and I fucking live for it, man. The music before they show up, like you got to find the soundtrack. Like
Foreboding.
the music in 2022 has not missed. This soundtrack is so good. Olivier de Riviere, I hope I said that right. Streets of Rage 4.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
dude. Yeah. The music's so good. There's a sound cue when the rats are like about to reveal themselves every time. So when shit's getting
Nice.
crazy, there's
like the
just
Jaws?
there's just this string. Yeah, there's like meow,
Oh man.
meow, like that they're coming, dude.
Cool.
So it's always so haunting. And then of course when they come, the set pieces are bigger now.
Yeah.
Again, this AA budget that
Yeah.
this is like peak AA right here.
Yeah. Same. I would say the first one was like at the time.
Yes. The rats, you're still using light to bypass them. There are a couple puzzles where I was like, what do you want me to do exactly here? Like, it wasn't fully clear. I was like, no, I'm supposed to go there. Like, right? This part's lit. Like, you want me to go there? But it was like, no, go over here. So there were a couple times when it was a little confusing. And a couple spots that were a little trial and error where it was like, I kept trying to go this way and like dying. But I was like, no, I swear I'm using this right. Like, this has to be. And it was like, no, go this way. So sometimes it did kind of
Sure.
want you to go a specific way, even though the encounters are more open compared to the first one. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But, the rats.
Yeah.
You got some Naughty Dog vibes in there. Like, running at the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Running, Uncharted, running
Mickey
at the
Mania.
camera. Yeah, Mickey Mania vibes. Like, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm really excited to play this game.
Yeah, you loved the first one.
I don't
dude.
like. It's hard to talk about this game because it's so story focused. So I
Yeah.
don't really want to get into that.
No.
But it's good to hear what you said about it, just expanding. So cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. There's some little optional like lore things you can collect, which is cool. Little like the optional collectibles are cool because there's two. There's the flowers again. Remember you could put them in Amicia's hair, which is cool, and you'll get a little lore on like the flowers of the time. So like chamomile, they used chamomile to blah blah blah, which is awesome. But then there's also ones that they're like recollections. I forget what they're exactly called, but they'll have a little like story beat. I love those kind of collectibles.
Yeah, me too.
When you do something off the beaten path and you get a little like story character moment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, happy.
Feeling
An
good.
improvement over the first one, but not by much.
Okay. But still solid.
Still so solid. More, please. And it made me just think of IPs, You always see the cynical, pessimistic comments anytime a remake or a sequel gets announced. Oh, I'd rather have a new IP, Get a new IP. IPs are fucking amazing. But, like, A Plague Tale is no longer a new IP, it's a sequel. But, like, it's still fresh and new. Like, and now we have a little bit more of this new IP.
Yeah. I mean, I think the IP fatigue is a very valid thing,
Absolutely.
but that's like, this is the second game. So it's like,
Yeah.
you're not on the diminishing return yet.
Yeah.
You still got time.
Yeah. I just love a good sequel.
Yeah. Good sequels
To
are great.
capitalize on the new IP,
Yeah. Yeah, sure. All right. Are you ready for some emails?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
If you would like to send an email, just join our $5 and up tier on Patreon. You can send an email in and you get access to our sweet-ass Discord. Lots of good stuff in
Posted my knee bruise in there.
there. Yeah, you can get quality stuff like that. All right, this question is from Brandon K. Gain. Hello, everyone. Inspired by the most recent episode of the Easy A podcast, I wanted to ask you all about trade-offs that have been with progressing generations. Prioritizing frame rate or fidelity, playing a completed game off the disc from the store to now in the online age of day one patches requiring memory cards to save as opposed to now having auto saves, and the constant chasing of fads from battle royales to season passes, GOTY editions to pre-order bonuses, and everything in between. As gaming has progressed through the years, do you think the technology, business practices, and the games themselves have come to an overall net positive, negative, or evenly trade one positive negative aspect for another? What areas has the industry invested in you believe are complete misfires? And conversely, what achievements are you happy to have replaced the requirements of yesteryear? Thanks for taking the submission as you do, and easy allies. Stay easy, fellows.
Absolute net positive. Video games are the best. Absolutely.
Okay.
I will say the one negative thing, though, is chasing trends. Like Gotham Knights feels like the victim of corporate suits. It feels like the victim of a boardroom. There is a lack of passion and vision and commitment to it because they were trying to chase online loot trends. This game is like, it has been in development so long, and like it feels like it should have come out 3 years ago when like Overwatch, Destiny, Fortnite, Apex, like it feels like very much a product of that
time.
timeline, and it's like we're moving past that again.
Yeah, it's like frustrating because I know a lot of games that get like released early or released in the state that aren't always necessarily the developer's fault. A lot of it's the higher ups telling them, yo, you got to get this game out, even if it's not ready, stuff like that. But I guess it's kind of been like think of Blizzard, okay? Yeah. We think of Blizzard from the years ago of, it's going to be done when it's done. Yeah. We're going to release this game when it's ready kind of thing. And now you get stuff coming out that maybe is not ready. I think of like World of Warcraft expansions maybe. It's like, they're not quite ready. And the developers probably know that.
If it can't hit 30, Brad, I don't think it was ready.
There's a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
And in like terms of like trends of like battle passes and like, I think there's positive and negatives to all that. Like, man, you can play a lot of really good video games for free.
For free. Fortnite is a free game.
You can play...
The Battle Pass can seem like fatiguing when you couple it with all of the industry Battle Passes, but if you isolate it, if you just play Fortnite, having that live service, constant updates for free is so nice. That is modern gaming right there at not its best. And it's not my favorite thing of all time. Like I will always like single player games, but like modern wow, that is such a cool thing to be able to fully play a game for free that constantly is giving you new things. Wow,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Brad.
Yeah.
And I think indie games can fill a lot of that space that you desire, maybe of I don't think this is fair to say AAA games aren't passionate people, because they absolutely are. They are, without a doubt.
Absolutely.
But you play an indie game.
Dude, there's some passion there.
Yeah, of course. There's passion. Every developer is going to be passionate about their games. It's just how much freedom they're given or whatever, and how good they are. But it's cool. You can play weird experimental indie games, what there wasn't a lot of back in the day. It's I love a lot of games from back in the day, but there's just so many options now. There's so many types. There's a game for everybody out there now. You can find something for anybody, pretty much.
So many games. So many 10 out of 10 indie games this year. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many.
Worst trend easily has been chasing NFTs.
Yes.
Even worse than loot boxes.
NFTs.
NFTs
not
has
good.
been the worst thing.
Sickens me.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one to be over. I tend to agree with you about the chasing the trends, and it's not just the most recent iteration is trying to make a game have multiplayer
multiplayer online forever
in perpetuity. Extending the life of your game, not beyond a few months. Was no, we just want to sell you a battle pass, or we want to sell you season pass, or we want to sell you on updates, constant updates like that to keep you in our ecosystem. And not every game needs to have that, and a lot of it has hamstrung a lot of things. Where it's why we just won't want that. But similarly, those are the obvious ones. But also, I think in terms of chasing trends about what's the most popular genre at the time, it's people think that just because you make it in a popular genre, it's gonna have it's gonna succeed. But just like any other genre, become two things. One, it can become way too saturated. Battle royales, for example. It's completely oversaturated at this point, and you're not gonna become Fortnite. You can make a good battle royale game, but you need to temper your expectations and have a little bit more of a vision and focus. I think that's the other thing, you saying, vision and focus and having passion, Huber. Just same thing. Not every game needs to go for open world anymore. I've seen several games in the last few years that tried to go open world, and I think they were for the worse for it. Similarly, I think you're saying it's nice I still love single player. Going back to old stuff, there's always a place for everything. Just I think linear is not a bad word. You can absolutely make really good linear games, and it feels like the trend has been to
super linear.
To buck linear games in favor of open world, and it's not
single player linear game. Amazing.
So I think it's mostly been a net positive. There's so many better things, and it's come to so many more people. And it's just improved overall in the past 30 years.
I feel in 5 or 10 more years, people won't be fatigued by battle royales, because I look at them it's just deathmatch. It's the same shit. It's just a different mode to play your game. I don't look at a game. I'm not fatigued by team deathmatch. It's in every single multiplayer game. It's battle royale is just another mode.
Like MOBAs back in the day. MOBAs are still around, but there was a huge trend of MOBAs more. There's great stuff in gaming now. There's bad stuff, there always was in gaming. There's always been great and bad stuff. I don't like when your fucking FIFA games or whatever, you buy your game. And there's loot boxes in that shit still, and it's every year. It's just damn. But at least you can do the research and figure out what is in the game. And you can make that choice on your own.
I'm almost tired of loot. I'm really almost.
I get that.
I'm almost completely checked out
I get that.
of chasing loot and numbers. Like, let me just level up and make meaningful choices and additions to my upgrade trees. Like, I feel like that stuff is gone. Like, loot is the focus, and abilities and like upgrades are secondary. Like, let's reverse that. Let's get that back. I don't know. That's just what the games I've been playing recently over the last year or so. Feels like loot gets all the focus. Like, your abilities are just like, abilities feel linear now. Like, you're just like going down your tree, checking your boxes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you got to min-max your loot to get all your elemental resistances. And it's like, no. Tired of that.
Okay. This next one is from Kiraz. Hey, y'all. Just curious why so much of your review process hides behind a closed door. I feel like there's hours of content that could get published after street date, an effort y'all ultimately don't get paid for or noticed for. Does it help to have reviews happen away from the public and the process you go through secretive?
Mm-hmm.
What about reviews would you change from the formula from GTA Easy has used since 2007? I mean, I don't think we keep anything behind closed doors.
Like, what's...
I don't think there's any like secrets we keep about reviews.
No, we're not allowed to talk about the game.
If there's an embargo, we can't talk about it.
And if I'm reviewing a game, I'm not going to talk about it at all really until it's published or we're doing an official like Gotham preview.
Like I guess if you're talking about in the sense of like almost like vlogging the review process,
then like
the review's already so much work. I'm not doing anything extra. Sorry, like I'm not gonna vlog that.
Yeah, I mean, I could tell you like what my review process is. I play the game. Yeah. Sometimes I take notes when I'm playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm recording footage when I'm doing it. Then I write it.
Maybe they mean like maybe not while we're doing it, but I know it's still technically more work, but if like you did document that somehow, and after a review goes out, you release like that. Oh, here like here's what I did like for the review, behind the scenes, but. I also don't know how like terribly interesting.
I don't think
is.
it's very exciting.
No,
or it would be very exciting.
Because in ideal world, every time I do a review, I talk about it here as like a follow up, like I just did with Plague Tale,
Yeah,
and that's all my like thoughts about it. I don't really have any different thoughts on a review process. It's just like my thoughts on the game.
I could see people from a writing perspective wanting to watch us do like the writing sort of like in real time, but the perils there are
the game would have to be out already.
It can't be under embargo. First of all, that's the most obvious one. But if that wasn't an issue, there needs to be no way of feedback in terms of like I can't interact with chat. Yeah. Like if you're talking about like a stream, it's like I can't read chat. Because like I can't solicit your feedback for this unless that's something you want to do. But then that changes what the review is. Now it's not even my review. Now it's like a different thing.
It's like a disc.
But and the same thing, just an even more danger or more of a issue. It's not danger, but like more of an issue in terms of like talking about conflict of interest. Is it like said developer or publishers in chat and giving you that feedback? It's like that's where the Pandora's box can be open when you do that. However, I mean it could be an interesting experiment to try for something. I just don't. It's not like it's content creation by like your modern standards, but like writing a review, I think it's a different thing. It's like a person writing like when you write a book, you don't really see like the behind the scenes of someone writing a book. You get to maybe see their workstation. Yeah,
you would
and
just see me pacing in my room back and forth, breathing heavily, sweating.
It's not very visual.
Freaking out.
Yeah, it's not visual.
Whereas like someone like I do see streams of people drawing art like in real time.
Memento.
That's more interesting, and I think that's something you can follow along with a little bit better. Or like editing a video in real time is something like a little bit more visually interesting, but like
it seems like a little more linear in that sense because like writing, at least for me, is like I could bounce around paragraphs pretty frequently if something comes into my head or I decide to change something in a different paragraph. It's like it's not necessarily a straight line from start to end.
Yeah.
I also could interpret this as maybe like for games that are already out or we're allowed to like play them as like why like stream your playthrough while you're playing it as well, so we see like your reactions maybe. But again, I don't know how much that. Yeah, I feel like it's also kind of asking different things at the moment.
Yeah,
they think they mean also cuts of the capture footage available, longer cuts, and more than just what's seen in the review.
Just like extra footage.
So,
Like an
some
extended
caveats.
cut.
There are definitely games that we get for review where we are limited to how much we're allowed to show in the review.
That's
and
true.
usually our reviews are shorter than that limit. So putting out raw gameplay is actually against the rules on a lot of these embargoes. They explicitly say, please don't publish raw gameplay clips, especially of over this amount of time, a total time.
Yeah.
It's not just like one clip can be this long. Like all the clips we ever publish of footage can't be like more than usually. It's like 10, 15 minutes is usually like what they say. So that might not even be allowed under the agreements when we accept a review copy.
Yeah. Also, every single one of my reviews, even if it's like a Mario Kart game, I don't want to spoil anything for you, viewers. I've how do I speak my mind, Damiani? It's like my reviews have suffered in the past because I don't want to talk about something or show something
I see what you mean.
because I don't want anyone to be spoiled, which is like futile and stupid now because everything is out there all the time immediately. So like if I'm not going to show something, like no matter what, everyone already knows and has seen it. But with my capture, like all my reviews, I don't care if your game is like 5 hours or 50 hours. Like I'm just capturing the first 3 hours of a game. Like that's enough.
Oh,
a review is like 5 or 10 minutes. If the first 3 hours of a game footage is not enough, like I don't understand.
I definitely.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I definitely am.
We don't need 100 clips of a game for a review.
You don't need 100 clips. I definitely more like capture heavy in the beginning because like a lot of things are introduced in the beginning and like they're like great clips when you mention something. It's like usually the easiest thing is like here's the tutorial of this mechanic, like literally showing that it's like the easiest thing to to illustrate what's going on.
Yeah.
However, especially like RPGs, like Xenoblade Chronicles.
Yeah.
Eventually, how like the rhythm is usually like new zone. I'm gonna get one clip of walking around this zone, one clip of like doing battles in the zone, and that's it. I don't need anything more than that. Like one like 5-minute clip of each of those, and like that's it. So like later clips are usually just like showing variety and like giving some like kind of flavor to the review so that everything doesn't look like the first 2 zones or first environment of a thing from like the first few hours to help it. But like again, like that's where streaming comes in. Like it's much better just to, stream a game and play it because that's like clips, just uploading our capture clips. It's just like old school gameplay. Like that isn't like maybe when something's brand new and you haven't seen a lot of it, that helps. But if you're allowed to stream it, like stream it as in context.
In the best perfect world, when I have time, it's like I do the review, maybe talk about it here, and then also
play it,
stream it.
Last
of Us Part 2 style, like review it, talk about it, stream it. You get it all.
Yeah.
But can't always.
I mean, we got nothing to hide with our reviews at all, but it's just like
open book over here.
Some of the process is like
I think
fun
the
to
word
watch.
secret threw me off. Maybe
there's no
means
secret.
Something else.
Yeah. Maybe we're misinterpreting your question. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's no secret.
No secrets here. Ask and it will be answered.
Yeah. Very well said. Okay. Let's see. This question is from Joshua Lehman.
What's up, Joshua?
I never got into Resident Evil games before because I was a baby like Bosman. But I recently finished RE Remake for the first time, and it's now in my top 10 games, and I'm almost done with RE4, and it will likely make it in my top 10 as well. Have you had a similar awakening with the franchise after finally getting into it? Yes, Yakuza for me.
Nice.
Came into that very late,
Hell
and
yeah.
I was like, man, these games are sick.
Hell
And
yeah.
I got caught up.
Yakuza's normie now, dude.
No, it is, yeah.
So
you gotta
normie.
find a new series. Time to find
Never
a new
in my.
series.
It's awesome.
New series, Easy Allies. Let's go.
Yo, normie is a compliment. It means it's successful.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta find a new series to prop up and champion now.
Shenmue, come on,
Well,
be normie.
Yeah, Shenmue becoming normie.
It got an anime, man. It's like they tried. They got 3 games.
Dude, sort it out.
They gave
Let's
it the
get season
remaster.
2. That's my sort it out.
Yeah,
it didn't do well enough, man.
Franchise I came into. I wish it was near, but it's not.
Yeah.
Well,
I wish.
I mean, I didn't get RE till RE4, so
Okay.
you know,
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same as them.
Persona, I got into Persona 4.
Yeah.
I think everyone technically didn't get in Persona starting with Persona
3 and
1.
4.
Yeah.
Well,
it wasn't until
Persona
like
1 and
3
2.
I really
3
heard about
was
it.
probably where most people,
Yeah.
their Persona fans got in.
I despise. It repulses me. It's grotesque. But I got into it with Fallout 4.
I thought you played 3.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
4's disgusting too.
And New Vegas on console.
Ooh.
I gameflied that game.
Okay.
I also played Fallout 3 on my supercomputer at the time. I had
Yes.
a very nice top tier. Ugh. Fallout New Vegas. Sorry, Obsidian. Ugh. Ugh.
Sure.
Fallout 4, though, changed my mind.
Okay.
The most casual take in the Fallout universe, probably. All those Fallout fans are probably disgusted.
Yeah,
right
they
now.
probably are.
They're disgusted.
Yeah.
Dude, Valentine is a better character than all of New Vegas. I'm sorry. Yo, New Vegas on console, though. Defend it. Defend it.
Well,
Come on.
New Vegas is a notoriously buggy game.
Yeah,
PS3 version?
defend it.
Everyone I talk to about New Vegas is like, play with mods. I'm like, okay.
Dude, if you're going to make me mod your game for it to run, like, sort it out.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't played it, so I'm not exactly sure. That's just what I've heard.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Is that the spirit of the question, I feel like?
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Sure.
Like, because
Spirit of the question.
the 4 got me into the franchise, even though I'd played 3 in
Yeah.
New Vegas. I'm trying to think of an actual franchise I got into late, though, man. It's hard.
Were you
Like,
there
I'm too old.
at the
I'm
ground
serious.
running with Kingdom Hearts? Were you there at the very beginning?
Kingdom Hearts 1 I played, but I didn't finish them. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess Kingdom Hearts is a good one.
Okay.
I went back.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say you didn't really get into Kingdom Hearts till like the HD ones came out, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Kingdom
Okay.
Hearts, great one. Great
Okay.
one. Perfect. Perfect.
Perfect. Let's see. This is from Slide Away. Cool name. This is our final question.
Excellent.
Greetings, allies. Every so often, I wonder what gaming will be like when I'm elderly. They used a elderly emoji also in the controller. Like most of you guys, I'm in my 30s, so thinking about this right now may sound silly, but nonetheless, I worry this lifelong hobby of mine will inevitably one day be inaccessible to me, whether that be my state of health, changing the times, etc. On the flip side, though, this realization makes me appreciate all the things I am fortunate enough to experience in the gaming space. And I guess it makes me less critical of the small things. To think we are living in the time where VR is a thing, where graphics can look damn near lifelike, and where gaming in a whole is more mainstream and accessible than ever before is truly incredible. But what do you guys think? Has this ever crossed your minds? Think you'll get FOMO when Elden Ring 7 comes out on PlayStation 15 and you're just sitting in a nursery home watching reruns of Seinfeld? Anyway, thanks for everything y'all do. Love and respect.
Dude, I'm going to be buried with my PlayStation. Like, it's going to be in my hands, in my coffin. I'm serious. Like, all of my PlayStations will be in my coffin.
Will you have an axe as well?
All your PlayStations?
All my PlayStations.
You sold a lot. You sold many of yours.
Wait,
Yeah, they're all going to be there.
Vita will resurrect you, dude. Vita means life.
Vita means life.
Yo,
I love
the
this question.
coffin will be like casket will be PlayStation branded.
Yep. Custom.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever thought about just being so old or something, or a state where I can't play a game. The only time I thought about that, I guess, is one time I broke my thumb.
Oh yeah.
And I had a cast on my arm.
Shit.
This is when Twilight Princess came out, the Wii. Dude, you ready for this? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so leading up to this, I was playing your Tales of Symphonia on my GameCube.
Nice.
So my thumb was covered up, and I couldn't hold the controller properly and use my thumb.
Okay.
So I held the GameCube controller like this.
Yeah.
My index finger.
There you go.
But I could do it kind of because it was like an RPG, you know?
Yeah.
Tales
the
is
action is side.
It's in real time, but it's I could still manage a lot of it.
Yeah. Awesome.
But it's just yeah, man. Luckily, there seems to be more options out there than ever.
Accessibility now
So
is
it
just...
seems to keep going and progressing.
For sure.
Hopefully things will get even more accessible, I guess.
Thought of the PlayStation plotline in Midnight Club. Just sad. Just like he wants to play the upcoming PlayStation, So, just, I mean, I think about death a lot, probably more than most. And I do once in a while think about gaming in the future. What is that going to look like in 5, 10, 20, 30 years? And every time I imagine it far into the future, I do see myself as an old man just playing, hopefully with a kid or something, But yeah, I think I'll be playing forever.
Yeah, I don't see why we would stop.
No.
We're going to get playing Final Fantasy 30 at that point.
Yeah.
Another the sixth MMO from them or something.
So you're going to be watching it all on your phone or whatever kind of phone we have at that point.
Full cyberpunk style.
Yeah.
Jacked in.
Dude, your brain's going to be in a robot.
Yeah.
And you're going to be playing in that robot body.
Adam Smasher, what's up? Yo, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, shout out. Good Lord.
I think it'd be fine with just being able to watch stuff. That's the one thing is like vision. Because then like you can't even like watch stuff anymore. That's like the worst one you want to protect. But like phones. Like if dexterity starts going away and stuff, it's like, all right, some plenty of great shows and movies haven't watched over the years to catch up on.
Sure.
Totally.
No time, like 70 plus years old.
I know. I say I'm gonna be
trying to watch
forever.
all the Walking Dead.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, shit. I'm only 35, but like, even now, sometimes I'm too tired to game. Like in the middle of the day, even I've got a good night's sleep, I've had a good meal, and I'm still like, not really.
Well,
just don't have the
sometimes
energy.
you're just not in the mood.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah. And I feel like that mood will be more periodic.
Maybe.
When we're older.
Could be.
Yeah, I imagine we're going to see a lot more. It'll be more commonplace. Like, it's not as visually in front of everybody, seeing, like, older people, like 50-plus years old people gaming. But it's going to start becoming more and more common.
We're getting there, yeah.
And to a point where I think, like, any kind of, like, we've been fighting against the stigma just of, like, playing games in general for so long. But, like really old people playing games, it's like, oh, it's funny, cute, but like they're never, like, old people don't play games, like especially with any
not very many,
like not a lot of amount of time into it, they don't. But like I think you will see able-bodied people of that age still being able to participate in that hobby that they really enjoy, and it'll become more common.
Sure.
But you said you think about it a lot, Huber, but thinking, like, do you ever try and do, like, by game console generations, how many you, like, by average lifespan, like how much you have left, like how many console generations you get to like see?
Like which PlayStation will I live to see?
Like where's the cut? Like roughly the cutoff?
I've never done the math.
Yeah, I don't think about that.
No. Never done the math, but I'm going to when I get home tonight. I'm gonna think about that hard, Damiani.
Dude,
I'm gonna think about that.
Think about, like, maybe, like, what's something you think of, like, older people would be doing, like senior citizens. What are they doing in their free time? You think of, like, they're playing, like, you shuffleboard or something like that.
Watching a lot of Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune.
Watch a lot of Jeopardy, but, like, maybe when we're older, it's like, let's meet up in Discord and,
there you go.
Play
kids
some
will be like, what the?
Get some friends.
You have to use your
5.
voice for this? Was this a baby's hand?
Yeah. Can't read my mind.
I mean, what was it? Like, up until she was able to still, like, go out on her own, like, my grandma, like, in, like, her, like, late 70s stuff, was still going to, like, new movies every, like, few weeks, and, like, would call her up and, like, she'd ask me, like, have you seen this movie yet? And, like, we'd talk about, like, movies and stuff, but, like, it's been, like, about 10 years since she hasn't been able to do that. But, like, that'll be us, like...
Yeah, once you hit the 80s, it's like that's when, like, 70s, you can still, like, do shit. And then you hit those 80s, then it starts going.
Then you get really angry at your dual
Starts
sense.
going down.
Yeah,
Not working.
Damn it!
80s
Like, is
and
the
90s.
drift me or is it the controller?
Big drop off.
Big drop off.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to do it for this episode of Frame Trap. Thank you, everybody, for watching or listening. We appreciated it. Thank you so much. Once again, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/easyallies. We would greatly appreciate it. Do you have any final thoughts, Mike?
More than once throughout this podcast, I've thought about wanting to play Gotham Knights. I don't know what it is about this deeply flawed and inconsistent video game.
Well, you like Batman, so you love Batman.
Yeah, dude.
So that's enough for you.
I just I want to be on those streets again right now, Brad. I just want to be out on those streets.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with liking like a less than stellar game. I think that's okay.
Yo,
You could totally love things that aren't amazing.
Jack Garland, dude. Check your rear view, bro. Check your rear view. That 7 is coming up.
Well, here's the thing I'm
on
gonna say.
you, Jack.
Well, we didn't review that game, unfortunately. So it's a bummer. But the thing I'll say is, bro, that game runs at 60 frames. It's ugly as sin.
That's the tipping of the scale there.
But it runs at 60.
Yeah.
It's got co-op, and hey, it's running better. Damiani, any final thoughts?
Yo, keep gaming.
Keep gaming, dude.
Keep gaming to your 80s, man.
Yeah.
80s
Keep gaming
nice.
until you drop.
Let's do it. Game in space when we go there, too.
All right, that's going to do it, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.